Wendy Bell Radio is live.
So I try to figure out why I have such an idiotic face on when we start. I'm always like, I don't know why. I don't know
Today's
why.
because you didn't realize what time it was.
I didn't. I just looked up at the clock. It was like a minute to go.
And even though I said
like,
to you, are you ready?
Well, if I didn't respond, what with the bejeebers? Come on. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Why do I hear something? What do I hear?
Do you hear it?
I hear music like in the back of, is it you?
It's my headphones.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. It's annoying. Okay, anywho, what's
you
going on?
You can't hear it, can you? Like, is it in your headphones?
I can. No. I can hear the sound of it. Anyway, I want to say hello, you guys. We have a big announcement, probably after the first commercial break. No, Brooke's not pregnant. Neither am I.
Does it look like it?
No. No, weirdo. No, not at all.
Men can't get pregnant, for all you people out there that don't know.
That's true. And if you do think that, then please go see Dr. Simkovich, Dr. Charles Simkovich.
Because something's wrong.
At the Simkovich Concussion Institute. Look, I'm going to get this not even out of the way. We have wonderful sponsors on this program. If you are new to this show, I want to give you a little inside baseball about how we vet people. I meet people. I talk to people. I listen to what they think about. Like, these are the sponsors. I ask them a bunch of questions. I try their products. I become a customer of their products. Can I tell you how many pairs of Cozy Earth sheets I've purchased? We are subscribers to Dr. Marty's food. He stopped sponsoring us, but his food is great. Why would I stop? Right? I take Healthy Cell every single day. We take blood flow every single day. And we've witnessed personally life-changing changes from the Simkovich Concussion Institute from what Dr. Simkovich does with his hands. Literally. So if you are somebody that you know has a problem, you believe it's triggered by a concussion, a traumatic brain injury of some nature, even something neurological that you're like, I have no freaking idea. Like our friend with the essential tremor who says legit, she's 70 to 75% better after seeing him 4 times. That's crazy. That's the Simkovich Concussion Institute. And I would not sit here and tell you that it's great if it wasn't. It's great. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. Call. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. They will fix you. And after you call, you'll be like, why didn't I call sooner? I feel so much better. Sometimes it's just nice to know somebody's freaking on your side.
Well,
right?
The nice things about all of our long-term sponsors,
God bless, right?
is they got on board before it was cool.
Yes.
You know, like that.
Yes.
They got behind the message.
Right.
More than anything else, which is nice.
And, you know, I want to say something, too, about this. So our friend Alan, who I've never met, Brock's never met, but he does this deep dive into all of our data and all of the numbers, and he collates it all, and he's big into spreadsheets, and he predicts, like, where we are. Are we going to get to 100,000 likes, follows here before Easter? We were on track, and now we're falling short. But I want you to know that we have these little games with ourselves. Like, this is how we grow, and you guys get to have a front row seat at all of it. And that is why we tell you about things like this. The Second Amendment commemorative gift that's available at wendybellradio.com. It's your typical AR mag, right? Isn't it, Brock? Isn't it typical size?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is our logo, so you can see where it goes in. And then on the back of it, this is the second of the third of the 3 that we're doing. This is Clarence Thomas's North is Still North, which you're about to hear. The first one was the Second Amendment. Then there's this, which if I hold it up and it focuses, you'll see. Isn't that cool how that's like lasered into this with this? Isn't that beautiful? We only have, I don't know, 60 left. Something like that.
Probably 70. Or I think we're at 70.
70. So wendybellradio.com. And it's listed under the 2A commemorative gift because you have to be careful about stuff like that. But that's why we put stuff out like this. Like that.
If you know, if you know, you know.
It's like that. It's Crescent Mountain Coffee. It's all of the things that we use every single day, and we're proud to share with you. And we do limited numbers because
we can't afford to have inventory.
We're paying for this, right? It costs $3,000 a month, almost $4,000 a month to put the show up on the satellite that we pay for other stations to get it for free. And because of you, you help us do that. That's what it's all about. That's why we work holidays. I love you guys. Thank you. Okay, Deep Thoughts with Wendy's over. I'm ready to be a bitch. Let's go.
What?
I'm a little saucy today.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Look, I say it's common sense, conservative values, but I'm just going to say it's common sense, okay? Whether you're conservative, progressive, liberal, socialist, Marxist, communist, I don't care, because somewhere inside of you, before you went off the deep end, there was that God-given gift inside of you called common sense. And we encourage you to spend a little time listening to this program, and hopefully we can all get it back. Oh, the irony. That is the title of today's program, ladies and gentlemen. It seems a lot of the things that the left is trying to push, blowing up right in their faces, starting with Don Lemon. Cannot wait to tell you all about that. I'm just delighted you're here. Thanks for being a part of our family. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Have you ever felt like you're right on the cusp of being a little crazy? Like you're looking at something and you're super angry and your hands are shaking, and your heart is racing, and the veins in your face are bulging, and you're like, whoa. We just got to the edge of a cliff and I got to dial it back. It kind of happens in your life, and then you kind of realize where you are, like where things trigger you, and you kind of modify. And you're like, okay, I'm a little passionate about that. Maybe we need to not be around these people, around these circumstances. See, you can do that. I think that's a responsible way of managing emotions and all sorts of things. I want to talk about what's going on with the people on the left, because I got to say, look, I rail on these guys all the time. Rail on them because I have personally watched these people lose their ever-loving minds. And with it, they flush down their common sense in a swirling commode of poop. And this is where we are. For Don Lemon, okay, this is a grown-up. This is a grown man. To think that going to Minneapolis, traveling to Minneapolis, and coordinating with Black Lives Matter and other Black race, whatever groups, that storming a church service to hunt down a pastor whom you believe is some kind of an ICE agent in the community, that makes sense, okay? that makes sense proves to me that Don Lemon long ago didn't realize where his toes were dangling over the cliff because he fell off of it over the weekend. And I think we need to be honest about what they were trying to do. These people who invaded this city's church service in St. Paul, Minnesota on Sunday, they planned it. They coordinated it. They said, we're going to meet at this place. We're going to do this. And obviously they communicated that with Don Lemon. But they went into that church to hunt down a human being, to hunt down a pastor by the name of Jonathan Parnell. Or maybe no, I didn't think that's who they were looking for, this guy named Jonathan Parnell. What if they had found him? What if the assistant pastor of that church had been preaching up there in front of that congregation, those people with Don Lemon, live streaming the whole damn thing, bust in? What if it had been him? What were they going to do? What do you think they were prepared to do besides terrify at least one child in the congregation? I know you've seen the pictures in the video of a little boy literally cowering with a man's arms around him, ostensibly his parents to his side, scared to death. They were hunting down a man that they thought was a member of law enforcement. Who out there wants members of law enforcement closer to you and not farther away? I'm all about it. Give me everybody who's locked and loaded. You wear a badge, I'm all about it. I'm in your posse. Let's go. These people have demonized law enforcement. They've taken defunding the police to now an insane new level where we're going to go into a church service, barge into it, interrupt it, terrorize the people inside of it, all to find a guy that we didn't even check to see if he might possibly be there. That's how ill-planned this coup of ridiculosity was. And now think of the irony. You have a black gay guy who plays the black gay cards like it's nobody's business, right? A black gay guy who's now being possibly prosecuted under the KKK Act, which provides security and safety when you're worshiping, right? He could be a black guy charged with violating the Ku Klux Klan Act on Martin Luther King Jr. Day or right around there, right? Are you kidding me? You cannot make it up. But it's so much deeper than that. These people are deranged. And I don't say that as a joke because it is not funny. These people who are school administrators or school board members, who are nurses, right? Who work in the community, who themselves probably have children somewhere along the way, thought what they're doing makes sense. Not only does it make sense, they're going to double down, triple down. And did you hear Don Lemon say in an interview with some toxic witch named Jennifer Welch? He said that the parishioners inside the church that he stormed, that he violated, that he broke federal law for a photo op click fest that went in his face. You know what he alleged after talking to all of what? 3 people inside? Who were nothing but gracious, stunned, but gracious? He called them white supremacists. Ladies and gentlemen, in one fell swoop, so many different garbage narratives have blown up in the face of the toxic and deranged left. Because in no world does somebody who hasn't lost their sense, who hasn't lost their mind, who isn't deranged over staying relevant, and look at me, click on my video, don't let me disappear from your consciousness. He went into that place knowing full well what he was doing, and it's all blown up. Fighting against ICE is patently idiotic. ICE is removing dangerous criminals from our streets. And by the way, later in today's program, we're going to go through some of the media lies that foment this whack jobbery on the left, where adults who are able to wake up every morning and take care of themselves, brush their teeth, eat food, shower, go to work, hold a job somewhere along the way when it has anything to do with Donald Trump, lose their minds. Now, here's the worst part of this whole process. They don't see it that way. They believe they are always in the right. They believe, they don't just think they're not wrong. They blindly believe that they are right. And if you push back on that, if you question them, if you try to engage in dialogue, if you stop and say, now, wait a minute, at face value, going in to track down a pastor who you want to then do what with? That on face value was idiotic. Right? You knew better. Renee Good knew better. You know what? The people in Congress know better. The people in Minneapolis know better. But this is it. The Alamo, the last stand, the final push to save the 20 million people that the Democrats imported from other countries because they knew they don't have the votes to win. Right? And in one stupid video, Don Lemon blew up all over himself, exposed the media for being ridiculous, exposed himself for being pathetic, exposed Black Lives Matter as being a militant communist front that terrorizes people, and exposed Democrats and forced them to say, are you for that? Because that doesn't seem to have a whole lot of common sense to it. All of this is at play, ladies and gentlemen. The DOJ now investigating. They're looking at violations of the FACE Act. You're not allowed to get in somebody's grill when they're going into an abortion clinic any more than you're able to get in their face when they're walking into church, let alone invade the sanctimony of, or the sanctuary of the worship. FACE Act, Ku Klux Klan Act. Bring it, and bring it against a Black gay man who believes he can still use those cards and say, you are racist. Dawn, no, it's not that we're racist. It's not that we're homophobic. It's just that you suck. And everybody got to see it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know, George Carlin, Brock sent me this over the weekend, and he sent it to me again this morning. And it's sort of his way of saying, hey, I think you should pay attention to this. And it's a fantastic minute of one of his comedy routines, which is sad but true. And it sets up the entire stage of what we're talking about today, all right? Buckle up. Oh, the irony. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Can you imagine, like Brock, if I had said to you, you know what I think we should do? I think we should go storm a church service. He'd be like, what you talking about? Well, there's nobody there with common sense who was like, you know, I'm kind of thinking this is a bad idea.
No, because they're all deranged like he is.
See, this is just it. Like that's been my thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, how do you get all of these people in all of these cities in 2020 to all cheat at the same time? And to be quiet about it and to let it go? Well, it sort of seems like we're getting some pretty interesting explanations of that. All right, I want to tell you guys about the Wellness Company. I got a couple of their products to tell you about. And the first one I want to talk about is their medical kit. Okay, so if the sore throat and fever that hit you overnight don't mean that you have to cancel a family event or what have you, or you have to cut school or work to go to MedExpress, the medical kit from the Wellness Company kind of has like everything you could possibly need in it in the event that you need it, and you need it. And you always need it at the worst time, right? You could just open your medical emergency kit from the Wellness Company, match your symptoms to the doctor recommended guide, and start treatment immediately. That's what it's all about. It's not a first aid kit. It is a mini urgent care right at your fingertips. You're going to find 8 core prescriptions inside that are going to treat 30 conditions, more than 30 conditions, including COVID, strep throat. Get me that like yesterday when you have a problem. You're like, I need to get this fixed. It's so uncomfortable. Pneumonia, UTIs, and more. No waiting rooms, no pharmacy lines, modernized medicine right when you need it and where you need it. In your home. Ordering is simple. At checkout, just complete a short intake form. A licensed doctor will review it, fill your scripts, and preventive peace of mind arrives at your home in about a week. That's what it takes. TWC.health/Wendy. It's going to get you 10% off and give you free shipping. Again, you're going to save. This is 8 medicines treating 30 different problems at your fingertips. The Wellness Company, TWC.health/Wendy, and use my name at discount, or as a discount code, you're going to get free shipping and 10% off. I love the Wellness Company. 100%. If they make it, I want it. Let's just say. I have you saw it, the field kit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So T Brooks 123. The reason you can't see it on the website is, and it says 2A commemorative gift, because on some of the platforms that you use to build websites, they do not permit to sell weapons, and what you consider a weapon, what you don't consider a weapon, they do. Like, you can't sell knives and stuff like that. So you have to be creative about how you put things out there. So that's
why there's no photo. That's why I wanted to show you.
Right.
This is what it looks like.
I'll play it when you call for it, the announcement.
Yes. That it takes such blatant forms of misbehavior, of just beyond the pale classlessness, of just this thoughtless, self-centered sanctimony to slap you in the face the way live streaming the invasion of live worship. I mean, at what point did that ever make sense to anybody? And for all these people to go along with it, that's what gets me. You know, there's not one person who's like, look, I understand that we're storming the castle, but what are we going to do if the pastor is in there? And what if the guy is mic'd, right? And he's ready to, he's talking to the flock. What are we going to do? Going to storm up there and drag him out? Yell at him? To what end? Did nobody think that? Nobody thought? Maybe we should just tap the brakes on this one for a minute. No, see, that is the rabid belief in your own 100% correctness always. Have you ever tried, honestly, to negotiate with a liberal? It's ridiculous. It's maddening. It's like arguing with your sister's sons, right? It's so aggravating. You're like, I'm going to choke somebody, right? Because they cannot possibly fathom that anywhere in the bubble that they've created for themselves, should there be a crack where it's not 100% perfect, where they're not completely correct, which is why liberals very rarely, if ever, say, you know what? I was wrong. I got that one wrong. And you were right. And I'm sorry. Yeah, that doesn't happen. And this is where George Carlin comes in. Brock found it. It's 100% applicable. Now, he's not referring to liberals, but I am. And this is why.
When your identity is your ideology, congratulations, you've officially screwed yourself, because now it's not just an idea, now it's you. And when the idea gets challenged, you don't hear disagreement, you hear an attack. So what do? You build a bubble. A nice, soft, padded little bubble where everyone agrees with you, uses the same words, hates the same people, and claps at the exact right moments. And you will defend that bubble at all costs, even if it makes you sound incredibly stupid. Facts don't matter anymore. Logic's gone. Humor? Dead. Because admitting you're wrong would mean admitting you are wrong, and that's unacceptable. So you double down, louder, angrier, dumber. And that's how you end up defending nonsense like it's sacred scripture. Not because it's true, but because without it, you'd have to actually develop a personality.
It's such an interesting commentary, and whatever and to whomever he is referring, it's applicable in this sense to the Democrat Party. One of the big rubs I have with Republicans is like getting everybody on board to think and act in a uniform fashion, even when the president is the one saying we need to do this. It's virtually impossible with Republicans. It's like herding cats. You can't do it. Too many rogue nations, too many people with differing ideas. And then you look over at the Democrat side of the aisle, and there is uniformity. There is unanimity. They are all for one for all, no deviation, nobody wandering away until John Fetterman, until the guy with the stroke was the one person who made sense. And we were all like, wait a minute, this goofball of a just towering, looming monolith. And he's the guy who's got like the tender nuance of common sense in his statements. I'm like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Did you hear what George Carlin said, though? That's how you end up defending nonsense like it's sacred scripture. You build this bubble for yourself. It's your identity. Your identity is your ideology. No, my identity is as a mom. My identity is as a wife and a Catholic and a mom. Yeah, I'm conservative. Yeah, I've done television and radio. That's like 50 down on the sheet. But being a rabid person politically, I don't believe I am. I think we speak common sense. This left, what George Carlin says makes a lot of sense to me. Now, and I teaser beazered, so now I'd like to share something with you that you, in fact, have done for us. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to give a big rumble thumbs up to the Wendy Bell radio program for reaching 7 million downloads on the Wendy Bell podcast.
That is, you guys, that is so amazing. There is like 0.0. I searched it. Seriously. I searched AI. I said, what percentage of podcasts ever reach 7 million downloads? And it's 0.0001. And it's because of you. And so before we get into the next meat and potatoes of this program, thank you. Thank you for finding us. Because I believe in something very basic, and it's giving you sources so you can check me. Sources so you can follow up, so you can ask questions, so you can make good decisions for you and your family. And I appreciate you. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program after this short time out, everything the left wants you to believe is falling apart. Don Lemon wants you to believe that the people who come against him for invading the sanctuary of church are homophobic racists. No, we're just calling out your bad judgment, Don, and there is a big difference, okay? So let's go through some of these things the left is desperate for you to believe, as common sense, yes, wins again. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Thank you, guys. It's just ridiculous, to be perfectly honest with you. Oh, look at you. We've already gotten Angela placed in order. Oh, very Kathleen.
Wow.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're getting your Second Amendment commemorative gifts. Very important stuff. I wanted to talk about this morning or this afternoon. Yeesh, I'm still not with the schedule. I don't usually talk about Healthy Cell in the first half hour or so, but I kind of wanted to. If you're worried about your cardiovascular wellness, this is a wonderful offering that has nothing to do with pharmaceutical products. It's nothing that's going to jack you up. It's Healthy Cell. It's Healthy Cell, and it's a microgel, which is delicious. It's a great way to get supplementation. But this one in particular says extracts, vitamins, and other nutrients, including CoQ10, resveratrol, and vitamin K2 to help maintain normal cholesterol and blood pressure. Now, if you could get off your drugs for that, if you could get off Lipitor, if you could get off your meds, and instead take one of these every day, this is what they look like. Super cute. Easy to take with you anywhere you go. Done. And is this got to be cherry, right? Strawberry. The flavors are delicious. They get into your system faster than taking pills, right? And the absorption is really off the charts. Healthycell.com/Wendy. All these various formulations of supplements for you. They have supplements for your eyes, for your hair, skin, and nails, for your vascular system, for your immune system. They have it for your bone strength. There's one called Calm, Focus, and Recall, which I take, of course. And then there's the one that Brock loves, which is called REM sleep. And it just lets you zonk out, sleep well, and wake up feeling dynamite, right? Simple as that. I like this company. I like who they are. I've spoken with them extensively. I believe in their mission and I trust their products. I believe you can too. Healthycell.com/Wendy. Stop making excuses. Try one and then be like, right? Just saying. All right. What else is going on out there? How we doing out there? We slow today? 5,700? No. Hi. I'm glad you're here. Look at that, 1.82 rumbles. If we got to 2,000 rumbles at the bottom, it would be just like the good old days. But I told you, I'm not going to talk about rumbles anymore.
But that goes to show why we talk about the follows.
Yes. Yes. I super duper. If you're new, if you go down below the video box next to the WBR Army, and what you get with that, now that's a paid click. And that's the only thing here that we charge for. And it's $5 a month. And we felt so bad about charging for our rundown and whatnot that we gave you 2 months free. So it's $50 for the whole year. And what you get every day is you get access to the rundown. And it's everything. You can see everything. See the pink, heavily edited to avoid swear words. Uncle Cliff, all of the stuff that's blue underline is sound. The purple is for Brock to know when the out cues are. And then I always do red at the bottom for the segment that's the shorter one.
You shouldn't have told him about Uncle Cliff because it's so well.
It's
is. So,
he said, what? How many? 13 edits? A dozen?
Yes.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah. That's Brock. I'm like,
but the most of them you can't tell.
No, you did a really nice job on that.
Most of them you can't.
So anyway, the Army, WBR Army, that gives you access to every single thing I talk about.
Locals page.
And you get access to this hours before we go on the air. So talk about a risk for us, right? For me to put this out, anybody could rip it off. But we share it with you. Anyway, we want really you guys to hit the follow button because we're really trying to hit. It's our next big. I don't know about you guys. I need like objectives, right? Give me a goal. Give me a number. Give me something that seems that I can't do it. And
well, that's something we started from the start.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all we've been. Remember? Yeah. There were like 50 people watching Facebook Live once. And we were like, oh my God, there's 50 people watching. And then when President Trump called in, would we get up to like 17 or 18,000? And then there was at one time we got 26,000 watching live, and we were like, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to watch this? I mean, right? That's what I'm saying. So, anyway, how's silver today, Brock? Have you checked?
I have not. I will check right now.
It's fun watching the price of silver and gold. I do think
94.51. It says.
Now, does everybody else out there agree with me? Knowing as little as I do, though I have been educated by Texas Bullion Exchange, who I love. We'll talk about them later. That we should buy after the drops a little bit. Like, don't we want to see a precipitous price decrease before we
That's
jump
assuming
in?
You think it's going to drop.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
God bless America.
I don't know.
It's going to be like my Amazon stock that Joe bought. Well, not my Amazon stock, but Joe bought it like 30 years ago, before it was anything, he's like, yeah, okay, take a couple $1,000 or what have you. And now it's like, and so maybe our little silver and gold menagerie is going to add up. I don't know. Doesn't it usually, though? Doesn't it usually go back down? I don't know. See.
The video with President Trump, that was, I'd have to find it. That was years.
Oh, you mean that was 2022. And we were the ones who asked him, what are you doing with the January 6ers? You're going to, if you become president again? And he's like, I'll pardon all of them. And then that went haywire. Remember that? That was the big headline.
Yeah, it was on Morning Joe.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program, wendybellradio.com, if you'd like to join the live video stream and the live chat during the entire program. So, everything the left wants us to believe right now is totally falling apart. I'm going to get you the update on what's going on with this church invasion. Breitbart says the DOJ is investigating potential violations of the FACE Act and the KKK Act after Don Leming's anti-ICE invasion of that Minnesota church. The move, this is what Breitbart is saying, is a stark departure from the authoritarian Biden DOJ, which used the same federal laws to prosecute and imprison nearly 24 peaceful pro-life activists, including an 89-year-old communist concentration camp survivor, several grandmothers, and a Christian father of 11. You guys remember Mark Houck, Pennsylvania guy. They went hot and heavy, freaked him out in front of his kids, scared his wife, scared his kids, banging on the door, dudes dressed in all black. These are from the Biden administration, dragging people in under the same violation. Well, anti-ICE protesters stormed city's church in Minneapolis. They accused the pastor of being a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent. And in a live YouTube video recorded by former CNN host Don Leming, and yes, I know his name is Lemon, but he is such a turd. Protesters were seen occupying the church and chanting, "Hands up, don't shoot," and "ICE out." Lemon was heard clarifying on video that he was not part of the group, that he was just there of photographing it, really. Jonathan Parnell, the lead pastor, described the protest as unacceptable, adding that it's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship, and I agree. And so we're going to hear later on in the program Harmeet Dillon say, look, we're not fooling around with this. Religion that's sacred. You can't do that. It's sacred. And people, it is a 90-10 issue, right? That you deserve to worship wherever that might be without threat of being scared out of your mind. Without some angry mob like the goofballs in Shrek. We're going to go get them in the swamp. They go and they try to shake down a pastor whose sin in their mind is working to help remove people who came into this country illegally. Remember that. That's what this is all about. Don't lose sight of that, right? So let's talk about some of these ridiculous myths and other fake news ideas that are being spread by the left, like ICE agents snatching citizens off the street, barging into people's homes. Well, that's not going on. That's not happening. And I want to talk about this because there's great audio of an ICE agent in his truck who literally is en route to go do an operation where he's going to be removing a pedophile from the streets of Minneapolis as these white, toxic, triggered, whack job activists are honking horns and they're blowing their whistles of alarm. ICE is coming. ICE is coming. Wait a minute. You are trying to alert the pedophile who's raped children. Think about that. You're willing to warn a pedophile that law enforcement is on the way, and this agent with a mask on his face says to the woman who identifies herself as a member of the media, he's like, what happened to you? What happened to you? Look at you. A U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement agent told people disrupting their mission in St. Paul, Minnesota, that officers there were there to arrest an individual for heinous crimes. The clip shows an ICE agent driving a black truck, pulling up with his window open before addressing people nearby. We're here to arrest a child sex offender, and you guys are out here honking. And then the woman says, no, we're press. And the agent then points to a car behind him and says, that vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigation while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane. It is insane. The left needs you to believe that ICE is scooping up people, disappearing black and brown people. They're just vanishing. It's so ridiculous. It's like World War II all over again. Yeah, that's not what's going on. We're going after child sex offenders. Listen to the ICE agent, who very calmly, of course, has to always take the high road. Listen.
We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, they're not. No, we're pressed. No, we're not.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
That's who you guys are protecting. Now, the video moves away and goes to the back where there's a woman who's telling other people around, don't believe him. Don't believe him. That's not what's going on. Again, to George Carlin's point in the last segment, right? These people build these bubbles. Their identity, their ideology is their bubble through which no reason or common sense can permeate. They are living literally in this deranged hyperspace. And you look at them and you're like, I don't understand what happened to you. But you are now a clear and present danger to me. You are now my enemy. That is where we are. It's not ICE. It's these whack jobs. Now, here is another lie that the Minneapolis police are against ICE agents. Like, we're not going to cooperate. We're a sanctuary city. We love this place. We love all of the fraud. We love that the Somalians have ripped us off to the tune of potentially $20 billion, and that all of this civil unrest is really a smokescreen to cover up the fraud that the left can't have stop. Their coffers have run dry, ladies and gentlemen. The spigot of Act Blue isn't coughing up any more smurfed donations, right? This guy goes by the handle Keith, the law enforcement OG, says, yeah, that Minneapolis police are against ICE is completely false.
Hey, folks, this is Keith, the law enforcement OG. And guess what happened? Yeah, the police chief of Minneapolis indicates that 24 of his cops have basically bailed on him. They quit. 18 of these cops are now working within the ranks of ICE. How ironic. But this is an example of what happens when you have corrupt leadership. You have a city that's lawless, and you got a weak-ass police chief that does not back your play. And what happens is good cops leave for better pastures. Good for them, and I hope to see more of them quit. Minneapolis, you are now a failed city. Congratulations.
And welcome, because Pittsburgh failed several years ago. I have watched personally its decline. So if you live in a blue-run hellscape sanctuary city of suck, like I live in one, you know damn well all of the signs. Property taxes going sky high because of some loser socialist who comes into office, and the moron Democrats are like, more please, and vote that individual in. Services go down, right? Dead deer all over the street, garbage, nothing's fixed. The infrastructure crumbles, life gets untenable, defunding the police. Nobody wants to be a cop anymore. Edie's that swirl. Oh, you see Minneapolis doing that? Yeah, Pittsburgh's ahead of them. I understand. Here's another one, like Don Lemon was just acting as a journalist. That's another one of these famous fallacies, like America is racist. Here's what Uncle Cliff, the thing I love about Uncle Cliff, this guy on X, he is a former felon, served time, black dude. He's smoking through everything that he's talking about. He swears indiscriminately. Brock had to do a lot of editing for this, I think 12 edits. But what he says completely debunks Don Leming's premise that if you come after him, it's because you're racist. This guy says, you know what? It ain't racist out here, please.
It's MLK Day, so I'm going to address this because I'm tired of seeing it too. We aren't free. Name something that a white person can do that I can't. I'm going to wait all day because, as I've said, I'm a felon. I ain't got no education. And I'm a black male. I'm pretty sure I can see this. So, and I can walk in the store and buy anything, go in and apply for any job that I want. I can do anything a white person can do. The difference is white people can accept the reply no. Black people can't take that. They can't. You go in and ask, a black person go in and ask for a job and they're told no. They throw everything in the world. It's because I'm black. It's because, no, you came in and applied for an engineering job and you not went to college or nothing, but this is a job you apply for. But then you say, oh, it's because I'm black. Stop that. I'm just saying, there's not a damn thing in this planet that a white man can go do that I can't. The bad thing is being told that only makes me try harder to show him that I can do it better than him. That's just how I was born and raised. You tell me I can't do something, I'm going to go do it and I'm going to do it better than you can ever do it yourself. So when you figure out you can answer that question and show me something a white man can do that a black man can't, I'll understand. And don't talk about no guns, because I just seen a Somali sit on the trunk of a car with a gun and not die. So, hey, your feelings. Facts are facts.
F your feelings, facts are facts. This is a blistering takedown of Don Leming by a black woman who's not buying the race-baiting BS at all.
Charges get mentioned and all of a sudden old Donnie Don have nothing to do with it.
MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true.
We're fake news. Oh, okay.
So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, what's her name? Something Hammett Gillen or whatever.
Aren't you a journalist? Couldn't you research the name before you did this video?
Oh, I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there.
When you followed them there?
Chronicling protests. Once the protests started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved.
Once they started getting loud, that's when your journalism kicked in?
Included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization.
Why are you interviewing the pastor when the pastor's preaching? This was his freaking point.
That's it. It's called journalism.
No, it's called interrupting a church service.
First Amendment, all that stuff.
First Amendment gives me the right to go in somebody's property and rudely interrupt. That's what it gives me, my privilege.
For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist, there you go.
Nah, look, I'm trying not to curse on this post. You could have walked your butt across the street and waited until the service was over. You could have waited until the service was over. If you weren't a part of it.
So why don't you talk to the actual person who is in charge of the organization?
No, boo. We're talking to you, who should have known better with your journalistic behavior.
And whose idea it was to have the protests at the church before you start blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea.
What we know is you walked your black ass up in there, dude. That's what we know. Sorry, God, I could not help it. Oh my God. We know you was in the church, Don, shoving a mic in the pastor's face.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Can't stand my president, but copy everything he do. We ain't paying no attention to no matters you got.
% Don Leming has pissed off the black community. They disavow him too. It's amazing how one bad decision has completely blown up in his face. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, we're not done with him. George Carlin was too kind when he called out intolerant boobs who can't admit they're wrong or apologize for their mistakes. Don Lemming doubles down, calls the parishioners white supremacists. Oh boy, next. I love her. She was so fired up. Do you know how long it probably took her to do that? It probably took her hours to do that, right? To respond to everything that he was doing and cut and paste and put it all together. Hats off to you. You spend the time. We'll give you some of our time. I love it. He's pissed off enough people. It's curious. What'd you think about it, Brock?
Well, I love Uncle Cliff.
I do too.
And he is worth the time that it takes to edit.
Yes.
Because everything he says is spot on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just he's calm. Other than the swearing, he doesn't get agitated. He's very calm, and I love Uncle Cliff. If I could get a hold of Uncle Cliff and say, hey, could you give me your take on whatever your take is for the week?
Mm-hmm.
I will play you. Just please don't swear. I will play it. I don't care. Make it 3 minutes. I'll play it every week. Uncle Cliff could have his own segment. I would give him that. Because he just speaks the truth.
I'll reach out to Uncle Cliff. He'd love me.
I love Uncle Cliff.
Right?
You got to love a guy who's just willing to say what it is.
So we were just talking about Texas Bullion Exchange. I'm not going to talk about them now, though. I really want to hit. Sorry. God bless you. I want to tell you before then about cbdistillery.com. 25% off everything in the store right now. There's a QR code we can pop up, too. If you want to open up your phone and hover in front of it, it's going to pull up that window on your phone, and you can see what's going on here. What if your only resolution is to not drag around every single day and feel terrible because you don't get good sleep? Well, it's one of the things that you can fix with cbdistillery.com. Sleep, calm, like anxiety relief, and then pain relief after exercise. That's really the three main ways that CB Distillery makes my life easier. If you ever feel like you're right on the edge and you really do believe you're going to just be blah, 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 and you're stressed out and it's like, they have wonderful gummies that'll calm you down, that'll take it down a notch, that'll make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm good now. I've got this under control. It's the same way you feel when you take one of their gummies to fall asleep. You're like, all right, crawl into bed, turn it off and fall asleep and wake up and feel good. And the pain relief after exercise, it's huge. And I'm not just talking about numbing the surface of your skin, but deep penetrating pain relief. That is cbdistillery.com. And if you use my name, Wendy, you're going to get that 25% off right now. 25% off. cbdistillery.com. I love them. They're great.
Someone said, and I missed it, have a segment, Ask Uncle Cliff Anything. I would totally do it. It takes a lot for me to say, yeah, I would dedicate it to Uncle Cliff. And if you want to find him, it's Uncle. If you type into,
isn't it lower score, like a lower?
It's Uncle Cliff with one F, CLIF, or at Cliff CLIF Lewis 3.
It's almost like you've been kind of stalking him.
Well, I follow him.
I do too. But see, only in America can you be a middle-aged black man, former offender, right, who served time, is not educated, but seems to be a lot smarter than everybody else.
He's got common sense. Common sense with Cliff.
I mean, it's like John Fetterman. It just is, right? I'm not a Democrat, but I get it.
Love me some Uncle Cliff. I want to go have a beer with him.
Don't you wonder where he is? And it's kind of counterintuitive that I say COVID was actually, in many ways, super helpful to us. And I say that to not certainly diminish how many people were hurt, killed, etc., whether from the virus or the vaccine. But it was the ultimate snap out of your hibernation moment for an awful lot of America. A lot of people still were freaked out, and they allowed themselves to overreact and panic instead of hit the brakes and slow down and become educated and absorb as much information as they could. They listened to the news, and the news whipped them up into a frenzy. And when you're whipped into a frenzy, you start chasing for solutions. And for them, the solution was roll up your sleeve. Now do it again. Now do it again. And now 8 iterations later, how is that working for us? If it was not for COVID, I would not have been even remotely as aware as I am today of so much of the fraud and the garbage and the doublespeak and just the disappointing lack of good judgment from some of these people who are just desperate for relevance. Like the ego thing must be really serious for Don Lemon, because everything he does is to satiate that. And I believe it's a monster that can't be satisfied. It's unfortunate. So there's this broad named Jennifer Welch. She is a particular toxic brand of psycho. And she's got these very cold looks. She's a typical liberal. She looks nasty. She looks angry, right? She's got super thin lips and she's just going to like, meh. And she's what is she, Brock? She's a former like interior decorator who's failed.
In a reality TV
So she somehow
star.
failed into some position to be one of the more toxic brands of liberalism out there. And I guess she has a podcast. Okay, whatever. I can guarantee she hasn't had 7 million podcast downloads. Anyway, this is Dawn Lemming with her as she's kind of taken him to the world of, blowhardia, where she's like, you're just such a strong gay black man. They just can't stand how manly you are and how much of a trailblazer you are. And he falls for it and he laps it up. Dawn Lemming does. They start by saying MAGA men are wimps. Okay, it's sheer projection. They're obviously worried about their own emasculated man bun, pinned pants, kayak in the garage dudes on the left. But listen to this back and forth. Resist the urge to vomit because you might want that for the next clip. Listen.
I think these MAGA men, they have like a hive mind. None of them are unique. None of them are the alphas they think they are. They just all take their orders every day. What's Elon saying? What's Trump saying? And they have to bend and mold. And you are a prize for them, an independent, gay, black, happy, successful man. And this is an attempt to intimidate and beat you down.
I don't disagree with that. And I didn't hear the first part, but I think that there is obviously there's racism in it. The whole point of it is that they're detaining people on the streets because of accents and the color of their skin, and they're also targeting people of color and black people as well as brown people. So there is a certain degree of racism there.
Really, it's all they have left. Racism, 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 racism. None of them are unique, she says. Well, it's none is, but that's cool. And by the way, have you met every MAGA man? Isn't it curious how they do that? Well, what he says next, I'm going to hold on to the next segment because it's one of those things that is so beyond the pale of pathetic. If you don't agree with Don Lemming, or you are different than he, or you have different ideas, you come from a different place and you have a different worldview, that is not allowed. You're either 100% with him or you are a white supremacist. His interactions with the people inside that church that he stormed on live streaming video, he claims, are just white supremacists. Ladies and gentlemen, it fails to resonate with me anymore. How sad. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I love the ICE agent, though. For a guy like that to roll down his window and to say to people, you're following us, honking at us as we're trying to go get a pedophile off the streets. This is what has happened to you. Just know that. That's what you're fighting. It's not us going after black and brown people. We're finding the people that we know of that were let in under Joe Biden or never left, who are dangerous. And that is our mission. And if you don't understand that, there's nothing to talk about. Get the flip out of the way. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense.
So what do you think Dawn talks about pillow talk with his white husband? Does he tell him he's toxic? And
you are a toxic white man. I don't know. I imagine that all of this stuff is projection for Don Lemon. It makes me so sad for him. Like, what a loser. What a sad. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Black women in particularly, if it's melanin or what have you, Black women, if you pay attention, I look at Black women because their skin is beautiful. It doesn't age the way white skin does. It just doesn't. So it would not be unusual to see a Black woman in her 80s look better than a white woman in her 50s, right? Don Lemon looks awful. It's like he looks like everybody who hasn't had their adrenochrome. You know what I mean? It looks like he's living a personal hell. And it's peculiar. I notice it when I see him because he does not have that skin. He looks like he's literally aged since he got the boot from CNN, 10 or 20 years. It's been a rough life, apparently. But he wants you to believe that he really is all that they came for him, they're gunning for him, the DOJ is, because he's so successful, because he was the biggest name there. That's a little scary. All right, let me tell you about Texas Bullion Exchange. 855-927-5557. So what if silver and gold don't come down? Like, what happens? The $33 an ounce last December, right, in 24 is now $94. It's almost tripled in value. Don't you want to know what they're thinking at some of these places like Texas Bullion Exchange, where you can get gold, silver, platinum, and palladium into your hot little hands, or you can find a way to get it into your investments for the future. And when you call 855-927-5557, that's my phone number. That's our phone number. And so when you call that, they know it's you. And they are so excited to take your call. They want to help put these beautiful coins in your hand. They want you to have the Trump coin. They want you to have all of the beautiful, low, like very rare mintage, right? Some of my coins come from all over the world. All over the world. I've got stuff from Canada. I've got stuff from the UK. I have stuff from Australia. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. WendyLovesGold.com. Check them out. Check them out. Learn. I got educated, and now I'm kind of like, it's sort of like getting a tattoo. Once you get one, you're like, I have to have more. But you're like, I don't want more, but I want more. It's like gold and silver. You're like, I have to have more. Yes, that's kind of how it is. Anyway, it's great to be with you guys. All right, so in this next audio soundbite, I went a little long on that one. It's 53 seconds. I could have squeezed it in, but it's too much. I just want to play it because the sanctimony among people like Don Lemon, it's very off-putting, but once you identify it and you're like, I really don't like people like that, then you're better off, right? Let's see what you guys are talking about. Who wants to say hi to me? Hi, Front Porch. Good to see you. What's up, Blue Patches? What's up, Great 660 BA? I don't know what that means, but okay. Hi, Tatanka. Tatanka? Dave? Hi, Dave. I just botched Dave. Hi, Darius. Hi, I like fish. Hi, Cher. What's up, Demanda? Hey. Hi, Bill Fred. What's going on? Stephen G. Hi, babe. What's up, Starvin Artist. Green is 122. How you doing? I'm doing great, Green. Thank you. Hi, Mama Bear. And Razorback Yawn Wayne. Hi, Renee. Hi from Iowa. Oh, Jim. Jim's ride. He always knows how to get me. Front Porch. What's going on? Hey, Sindra. Hi, John Buffalari. Is it Boof or Buff? Buff, Buffalari? John,
Boo.
Tell me. Boo?
I think.
John, give me a phonetic. Hi, JJ. Hi, Penny. It's probably Penny. Hi, Penny. Hi, Rosebud. What's up, Ginge? I see you, babe. Conley. Hi, Don Parcel. Shenanigans. What's going on, babe?
Buff.
Buffalari. Got it. Hi, Blue Patches. Rick and Linda are here. What's going up?
Who? Rick or Linda? Which one?
Rick and Linda. Esky.
I don't understand why Rick doesn't have an account and Linda doesn't have an account.
Hi,
They're both
Vipers. You know what? You're really trying to point horror on this, aren't you? We're trying to get 100,000. I'm telling you. Like, I'm shifting my attention away from Rumbles over to follows. We need to get 100 to 150 a day to make our, I don't even know if that'll do it. So if you think about it,
we'll get there.
And you haven't hit that follow button underneath me, that'd be great.
Oh, so it's Linda. Rick needs his own account.
Ah.
Come on, Rick.
6'5" watching. Hi. That's great. So, yeah, we switched. This is our, third week at this time period? And we switched at the beginning of the year, and we probably lost, 35, 40% of our live audience because we switched times. But I've been delighted with you guys. You've been wonderful. You guys are staunch every day here. Thank you. And I don't think we've gotten a whole lot of love from Rumble.
Mm-mm.
So this is like pure you, which makes me love you even more. How you doing? This is where Brock goes, oh boy.
Huh?
What? You know what I might do? I might save Lemming. I might save him until the end.
Okay.
Let's do that. It doesn't really fit here, and I went long. I beg your pardon. So we'll bounce him back to the bottom.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. It is a delight to be with you always, to share what I say every day is common sense conservatism delivered by a mom. And I don't think being a mom is anything here that's extraordinary in my view, except there aren't a lot of us out there talking about the common sense that we all feel base level, street level in our own homes. Now, I warn you all the time about polls. Even the polls that come out and they're like, Donald Trump is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm like, now those don't come out often, but it makes you feel like you're being played. I don't believe anybody. I don't believe the science. I don't believe research. I don't believe data. I don't believe polling. I don't believe the news, right? I don't believe the experts. I certainly don't believe people like the professionals who try to tell us this or that. Polling is one of those things that we all need to be very serious about. It's a very manipulative thing. And you could skew things a million which ways. Well, USA Today's picked up and started running with a Wall Street Journal poll that just came out. Now, I have a subscription, way overpriced subscription, so that I can read these polls. But the lion's share takeaway of this Wall Street Journal poll is that people are really upset at Donald Trump. They really don't like what he's doing. They think what he's doing with immigration is beyond the pale. It's super heavy-handed. They don't like the economy. They think he's to blame for all of the craziness that makes things so unaffordable. You know, it's not the fraud and the waste and the abuse that's driving up costs, right? It's not the millions of imported illegal aliens that have made finding an affordable home nearly impossible, right? It's Donald Trump's fault. Okay. But buried 5 paragraphs down in this USA Today story where they're trying so hard not to be like, oh my gosh, did you guys see? It's a really good poll. I mean, it's a bad poll for Donald Trump. They're celebrating it. But then they drop something that's really the most important part. Do you guys really care? Do you really care that the Democrats in this poll do not like anything President Trump does? They never will. They never have. It's not going to happen. I don't expect them to. So I think out of the gates, right away, you're going to have at least 50% of the country, probably 50% of the people polled, be opposed to whatever Donald Trump is trying to do. And it's going to reflect that. But you know the number that hasn't changed? If anything, it is ticked up. It has everything to do with you. So here's the USA Today headline. New Wall Street Journal poll shows voters increasingly unhappy with Trump on the economy. You guys feel like that? Do you feel like that? I don't, because I see what he's trying to do. Look, Greenland is as much of a strategic play militarily as Venezuela is, but there are rare earth minerals there. There is ways to make money there. President Trump is always thinking about maximizing profits here. President Trump is trying to do the whole made in America thing. You want to do business with America? Well, we're going to tariff the bejeebers out of you. Unless, of course, you'd like to build your plant here in America and employ American workers and use American products in your machines and what have you. And then we'll go zero on the tariffs. I see what he's doing, getting stopped along the way. And if I'm not mistaken, I think today is the day the Supreme Court is supposed to say something about the legality, if you will, of Trump's tariffs, right? I don't look at the economy today and say, Donald Trump, it's his fault. I think we came from 9% inflation not that long ago. He's got it now way low. He's trying to lower mortgage rates, credit card rates. He's trying to buy back loans. He's trying to help people who've overextended. He's trying to get people. What about the 401k? What did he say, Brock? He was going to use 401k some or other to pay down payment on your house?
Yeah, that people could use 401k to use for a down payment on a house.
So why are you saving for tomorrow when you can't afford today? Why not use the 401k money that you're squirreling away, hopefully to replenish it, but buy a house? It seems to make sense. I like it. Well, let's read a little bit of this USA Today article, and then I want to drop that 5th paragraph on you. Ready? What percentage of voters do you think see the economy as worse under Trump? Well, it's quite a few, according to this poll. Voters are increasingly unhappy, it says, with how President Trump is handling the economy, a shift with potential consequences for the upcoming midterm elections, according to a new Wall Street Journal poll. First of all, it's January. Are you honestly trying to tell us that in 10 months, what's going on right now has serious impact for the midterms? That's just a bridge too far when the news cycle is all of 8 hours. More voters rate the economy as weak rather than strong by 15 percentage points. A, quote, deterioration from July, when negative views predominated by 4 points, the Journal said in a poll released the night of January 16th. All right, 15% more people believe the economy is bad now than it was. All right, some of that kind of fits into what we're thinking. This poll said about half of voters say the economy has gotten worse in the past year, compared with 35% who see improvement. Those are among the warning signs for the president and the Republican Party, the Journal reported, saying their poll finds that voters think Trump is focusing on foreign affairs and other matters at the expense of their most pressing concerns, rising prices and the overall economy. Okay, you ready? Because you're now at the 5th paragraph. However, support for Trump among his most loyal supporters has remained stable, though, with 92% of people who voted for him in 2024 giving Trump a positive job rating today, including 70% who strongly approve with the job he's doing. Okay, well, The majority voted for President Trump. The majority won. The majority are the people who now say 92% they strongly approve of the job he's doing. So let me ask you, is Donald Trump really underwater? Is he really, should he really be stressed out about what things look like now before the midterms? Please. You should worry when the staunch supporters are the ones who waver. 92%? Democrats couldn't buy 92%. They're at like 30%. Please. The real story there, obviously, is buried among all of the negative headlines. And if you don't read past the first couple paragraphs, you never see it. That is purposeful, 100%. Now, I want to play this for you, which is very interesting. I'm going to read you a little backstory here. See, so as this poll tells us that Donald Trump is underwater with Americans regarding the economy, it's gotten worse under him, not better. Do you guys live in a socialist controlled environment? Because we do in Pennsylvania. We do. Pittsburgh, I should say. We have a socialist county executive whose job number one was to crank up the property taxes on day one by the tune of 36%. For what? I'm still waiting to figure that out. We don't know. This is coming to New York City. Have you guys seen this? New York City bracing for higher property taxes. Wait a minute. I thought Zoran Mamdani, the socialist communist / guy, I thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. You're already telling me prices are going up? What? It's almost like that's what happens with communists and socialists. New York City property owners face tax hike as Mamdani's rent freeze pledge could send prices soaring. Huh. Well, there's no freeze on soaring costs. City homeowners and landlords are bracing for a hike in their property taxes as Mayor Zoran Mamdani's rent freeze promise can send prices soaring for residents who don't live in rent-controlled apartments. Building owners whose stock includes government-regulated apartments. Basically, they say if he gets his wish of a rent freeze for the rent-controlled units, it's going to make it harder to maintain their properties, and it could force them to hike their rents. Shut up. It's almost like it always costs you more when these blowhards get elected. Well, let's listen to Zoran Mamdani over on the Breakfast Club show with Charlemagne the God, as he says, you know what? I've got great ways to raise revenue, guys. This is brilliant. You know what his plan is? We're going to sock corporations the way New Jersey has, and we're going to absolutely murder them, and we're going to tap the uber wealthy because what's an extra couple percent? Listen.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over this city. And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there. They can pay it over here. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City. Because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by a flat 2% tax increase. And I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. Mm-hmm. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error. And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting taxed.
Brock, $20,000 a year is a rounding error.
I'd like to know who his accountant is.
Oh, my Lord.
Can you imagine if you made that rounding error with the government?
God bless America. And he says the beauty of his plan, the beauty is that corporations that even want to do business in New York see a 4% increase in their corporate tax rate. Are you kidding me? Sayonara. Did you guys see what's going on with California? All the billionaires bailing? Well, in New York City, it's going to be all of the businesses. It ain't going to be worth it anymore. Period. It's almost like we told you so. But, you know, I don't like to do that to people. Anyway, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, this is the sneaky way liars and leftists taint the news. Scott Jennings eviscerates a 25-year-old, let's just call him a liberal know-it-all. Oh boy, worth waiting for. Next. Wow. And the beauty of it, he says, the beauty of your constant dipping into what did Margaret Thatcher say? She says the problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
And so you dip in the well so many times there's no more water. It's gone. There ain't no more cash. We're not gonna bankroll your insanity. Because that bankrolling just goes into liberal bullcrap that doesn't help anybody. It's freezing in here.
I don't understand his mentality where if you just do business, how are you going to separate the people who do business from? So what if you have an office there, then there just won't have an office there. I'll change my.
No, if you do business in New York City, so you move your office to Orlando, but you still do business, you're still going to get taxed. You're going to get that increase. And so, okay.
So what about every business that does business that doesn't have an office there now?
I guess they don't have the same taxes.
Which is, now you're picking winners and losers.
But the beauty of it, Brock.
Yeah, it's good for everyone, even the people paying the taxes.
Weight cycling is when you lose 10 pounds or so, and then you put the weight back on plus a couple pounds. And it's so hard on your body, this weight cycling. Getting bigger, getting slimmer, getting bigger, getting slimmer. It's brutal. Most people need help losing weight, and there is a great way. Non-prescription lean was created by doctors. It's an oral supplement, not an injection. And the science is really impressive. The studied ingredients target weight loss in 3 powerful ways, and the third one's kind of the most exciting. Number one, it helps maintain healthy blood sugar, which is great because you don't want to have that feeling where you're like, blah, 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 right? I hate that feeling. It's the pits. Number 2, it helps control appetite and cravings. And number 3, it helps burn fat by turning fat into energy. And that's the whole zhuzh reducer, right? That's when I reach down, that's where you lose zhuzh, convert fat into energy. I'm all about that. Take lean. This is from our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition. If you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace and you want to keep it off, add lean to your diet. It's really that easy. Add it to your diet and your exercise lifestyle. Get 20% off when you enter my name, Wendy, at takelean.com. Promo code Wendy, takelean.com. 20% off. I love Brickhouse Nutrition. They make it. I'll try it. Absolutely. They're fantastic. Let's see how you guys are doing. 2.57. Wow.
Yeah, we struggled yesterday.
That's pretty good. Was my bleeding heart story about how we have to pay for everything out of our own pockets, right? Why wouldn't a company that puts together radio programs not want to hear a different kind of voice, right? It's such a good old boys club. It's not even funny. It's such a white middle-aged man club that I'm sitting in right now.
And it always has been.
And it always has been. Yeah, a lot of professions are like that. Thank God I like white middle-aged men. However, I'll go toe-to-toe with them. Let's go. Hey, if you missed it, you missed Amanda's song. You have to go back and see if you can watch Weekends with Wendy from over the weekend. When did we air it? Last 10 minutes? Last 15 minutes?
Yeah, last 10.
Last 10 minutes. It's worth it. It's a freaking phenomenal song. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I want to just slap you in the face one more time with a 34-year-old punk. telling you the beautiful thing about his tax plan to actually bend over the corporations in New York and screw the people over, make $1 million or more a year. And we're just going to take, it's a rounding error. It's just 2%. I mean, what's $20 million or $20,000? It's not, $20,000 is a hell of a lot of money. And the cavalier nature with which socialists and Democrats love to spend our money is truly baffling to me. It's almost like everybody on the right who's like, yeah, that's not good for your community, sits back after everybody then votes it in, and then they're complaining about it. We're like, what did you think was going to happen? So this is what they want. They want to redistribute wealth. They want to take from the Uber and bring it to the poor, make everybody equal, because equal's perfect. Oh, equal doesn't exist. And these people who are trying to sell you that are selling you a fantasy, and they're ripping you off. I want you to hear this leftist activist. The guy is a Parkland shooting survivor. So he was at the school. He survived, obviously. He's now some 25-year-old kid. His name is Cameron Klasky. And he's talking on this panel on CNN. Why he's apparently a CNN panelist now, we don't know. But I want you to hear him try to tell Scott Jennings that Scott Jennings is not allowed to use the term illegal alien anymore. And listen to the ease with which Jennings dismantles the young buck.
Appreciative that the president is being transparent about this. I would love it if he was more transparent about the human sex trafficking network that he was a part of, but you can't win them all.
Cameron's grateful that the president is being transparent about the Nobel Peace Prize and his desires for Greenland. Scott, what do you think about that?
You going to let that sit? Are we going to claim here on CNN that the president is part of a global sex trafficking ring? Or,
well,
I mean,
we're going to talk about the Epstein file. Scott, I will do the fact checking as we go along here. Repeat what you said about the global sex trafficking ring.
That Donald Trump was provably very involved with it.
Okay, we'll get to that later. I mean, Donald Trump has never been charged with any crimes in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. But
let's be adults here.
We'll talk about that.
Let's be serious.
Satisfied?
No, we're not satisfied because you weren't even paying attention to what the guest was saying, that Donald Trump is part of some child sex trafficking ring, and you weren't even listening in real time to say at the moment, you know what? You got to knock it off. We don't do that here. Scott Jennings has to call him out. Now listen to this, part 2.
I recognize
you don't
you
get to say
haven't
the
reviewed
word
all the
illegals
material
anymore.
But
The percentage.
Who are you to tell me what I can and can't? I've never met you, brother. I can say whatever I want. They're illegal aliens, and that's what the law calls them, illegal aliens. That's what I'm going to call them.
Right.
Listen, you can't say illegals anymore because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country. And how
are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
Listen, I understand.
But just listen to his point about illegal.
No, I want to know why he gets to instruct
You're
my
changing the
speech.
topic.
Hang on.
I want to know.
You're making a point
an
about
emotional
people being
plea.
arrested. Go
I
ahead.
understand that your job is predicated on just getting increasingly more demented every single week, and that the audience comes back to see if perhaps
make your point.
My point is that you're saying the word illegals, but
it's in federal
you don't
law.
even really know what's happening. Or actually, I think you do, and
Sure,
you're
I do.
doing this on purpose. But
Yes,
the truth
because
is,
I want the law enforced.
they are not just targeting illegal immigrants.
They
They
are.
are targeting natural-born U.S. citizens.
They are not.
That is a fact. You
They are
cannot
not.
deny that. I mean, you can on national television.
They are
deny
not.
facts all the time.
They
You've
are
done it a
not.
couple times in this very episode.
I still want to know how you're going to enforce your language
God's
edicts on me.
We'll take that up.
How are we going to enforce it?
We're going to take that up in the break.
Oh, there's John Berman. We'll take that up during the break. We're not going to talk about anything that pushes back against our whack job liberal 25-year-old lunatic guest who's going to say, you're not allowed to do this and you're not allowed to do that. Who are you? See, this is that mentality that George Carlin was talking about in that first hour of today's program, right? They're so ensconced in this bubble of their ideology. They are so convinced in this ideology, it prevents them from having any kind of common sense and seeing that they're wildly offensive and off base. How dare you tell me what I am allowed and not allowed to do? Who are you? I haven't even met you, brother. How are you going to inform? Well, don't try to change the subject, Scott. The one voice of reason is the only reason that program is even still on television, because Scott Jennings is worth the cost of admission, and all these other talking bubbleheads, right? Not bobble, bubbleheads. You hear it every single day. At least they're consistent. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the left turning from defunding the police, which was wildly unpopular. They learned that in 2020 in many races, to destroying ICE. Is this a political quagmire? Oh, yeah. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm going to run to the bathroom, Brock. Unless you have to.
Nope. The sad thing is that kid is the reason of people my age want nothing to do with them. I don't even want to have a conversation with you when you've come out and say fake news. And I sent that to Wendy this morning because it made me irate that he said it. And Scott Jennings, before he even said it, I was up in arms. And Scott Jennings like, whoa, we're just going to let this happen. It's just, if Scott Jennings left, CNN would be effed. Period. They'd get no play anywhere other than just CNN. I mean, we play it because he calls out the lunacy of CNN. And I know people that watch CNN. If this is where you're getting your news, that kid doubled down. Oh, it could be proven. Then where's the proof? What proof? That's all they should have said. Well, you're saying this. What proof? What proof do you have? He has no proof. He has no proof whatsoever, but he says it. And John Berman, I'll do the fact checking here. No, you won't. You didn't. So don't tell me you're going to when you just proved yourself wrong.
All right, so I have a personal story. My personal story today is working out with my trainer this morning. And so I'm doing one arm rows while I'm planking on a box, right? So my legs are out and my hand is here. So normally I could do, 17 and a half pounds, maybe 20 pounds. Today she decides to go up to 25. That's a big jump. There's a 22 and a half she could have gone and she didn't. She went to 25 and I did it. Then we went over to the machine for like seated pull downs. And she goes and cranks it up. And then we went over to the leg press and she put it to what she does, which is, 90 pounds or whatever it is. It's not a lot. And she put it there for me. And I did that. And she's like, you're getting a lot stronger. And I'm like, bloodflow7.com. I'm like, Mary Beth, I'm going to bring you your own bottle. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to give it to you. She's 64. She's a badass. And she plays pickleball. And she's like a creme de la creme pickleball player off the grid at 64. So good. I'm like, you're going to notice a difference in one day. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Brock is on the Alpha Gold Male. It's the same, but for men. Deals with testosterone and all sorts of other things. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Get it. Right? This is what's going to take you to the next level. Take you to the next level. And then there's the Peak NAD Plus. They also have this on there. This is for repair, cellular repair, after exercise. Bingo. So you're like, I have no stamina. I feel like I'm 1,000 years old. I can't move. I could just get winded. Ugh. Try this. Bloodflow 7. And then you're going to start exercising. You're going to start walking farther and you're going to realize you walk up that hill. It normally winds you. And you're like, I could keep going. And then you're going to be like, woo, I'm hot and sweaty. Oh my gosh, I need to cool down. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I'm telling you, And she's gonna be like, what the heck is in that? And I'm like, yeah. And you're a personal trainer. How many of your clients should be taking this? 80 is that impressive. I have chicken arms. There's no reason I should be rowing 25 pounds or clean and pressing, what, 80? I don't know, 90, whatever I'm doing. Yeah. Deadlifts, all of it. Squats, swings, lunges. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's all that. And the NAD Plus for repair. I'm telling you, you got a 1-2 punch going on right there. I love Juvenile. Anyway, Brock, enough about me. What do you think about me?
I don't get the NAD Plus.
Are you exercising? Are you gimpy? Who's limping around with sciatica? You really need that cellular repair as you're trying to just go through a day without pain? Really?
I'm getting there.
Are you?
I am. Hey, 3 weeks ago, getting up from a chair and sleeping through the night was
true that.
So, yeah, I feel 70% better. So there.
I think that's wonderful. So don't ask for that until you're exercising again.
Wow.
Sparky. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I'm still hot over the last segment and the brazen ignorance, this do-goodery that the left feels that they are working within, that they are above and beyond reproach, that whatever they think is 100% accurate. They would die on that hill. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. And I think it's not a matter of them being so right. It's them being so confident in their one perspective, and they've become so rigid with anybody who feels differently. It's not inclusive. That's not welcoming. That's not supportive. That's not, oh, joyful. We're all joyful warriors. No, we are angry, mob mentality wackos who believe it's okay to try to storm a church to drag out a guy who works for ICE. Like, what? Where are you? Well, I want to talk about this whole idea of defunding, not police, but basically destroying ICE. If we all agree that Democrats know that they can't get enough votes to win, it's not in the cards. They don't have the money. The DNC's broke. They had to take out a loan to get $10 million so they could pay social media influencers to put up content that's negative about President Trump. I mean, like, that's not money well spent. That's called desperate measures to try to create a narrative that doesn't exist. It's all been High School Musical, right? We're all in this together. No, no, in fact, that's not what's going on. And they realize that this last stand protecting the illegal aliens that they've brought into this country on your dime, off of your hard work and sacrifice, that if they lose those people, they'll never win again. This is war. This isn't just about hating Donald Trump. This isn't just hating you if you're MAGA. This is a fight for survival. It's come down to this. And when you're fighting for survival, you'll do anything, like assassinate a sitting president, or try to. So I found this article at thefederalist.com. If you guys don't follow this site, it's a great site. They have wonderful articles. And I pop in every week or so to see what they're doing. And there's a headline that is very applicable to where we are right now. And this is what it says. The propaganda press keeps trying to turn radical anti-ICE agitators into victims. It's very interesting. Let's read this for a moment. It's very quick. So this woman named Aliyah Rahman, she says she felt lucky to be alive, that the days since federal law enforcement officials dragged her out of her car have been traumatizing and overwhelming. Corporate media outlets, they're going to tell you that, all of them. Same story, same narrative. A disabled woman just trying to get to her doctor's appointment, pushing the left's message that Rahman is another victim of President Donald Trump's ICE agents and their roundup of poor, undocumented immigrants. Well, now what they're not going to tell you, of course, at least not until deep down in the story, right, is that Rahman, according to the Department of Homeland Security, was arrested for obstruction after she ignored multiple commands by an officer to move her vehicle away from the scene. And because she failed to do so, a DHS official told the Federalist she was arrested for obstruction. Okay? How does this stop? Well, don't show up, first of all. And if you do, because you're dumb and you're trying to get clicks or you're trying to be valiant, you're trying to be a kamikaze Karen, if an officer says scram, you probably should pay attention, right? So the accomplice media made sure to emphasize Rahman's claims that she was brought to a detention center where she was denied medical care and lost consciousness. Oh no. They haven't been all that interested in finding out her full resume, as the New York Post did, reporting that the woman screaming on a viral video is a tech guru and LGBT and racial justice activist, including a decade-long history with Black Lives Matter, who describes herself as a, quote, friendly neighborhood deniable asset. What? Like, if you detained me, I'd be like, she's a mom, right? She's a friendly neighborhood deniable asset. By the way, a DHS official says Rahman's claim that she was denied medical care is completely false. Now, in the chaotic scene, it was caught on video. ICE officers attempting to arrest 4 illegal aliens. This mob of protesters surrounds them, screaming hate-filled obscenities. F you, F ICE, F Nazi, blah, 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 blah. Horns are blaring. Officers are trying to do their jobs under constant assault and obstruction. A week after the fatal shooting of Renee Good, the radical ICE watcher, who appears to have struck a federal agent with the vehicle she was driving, now the symbol of the left's insurrection against the federal government. They choose all the wrong heroes, don't they? Drive, baby, drive. The Minneapolis tinderbox was then and continues to be on the edge of conflagration. As officers carried out their law enforcement duties, a significant crowd surrounded them and began impeding law enforcement operations. It's a federal crime. It's like busting into a church service, right? One agitator ignored multiple commands by an officer to move her vehicle away from the scene. She was arrested for obstruction. Another agitator assaulted an officer by jumping on his back. 6 of these agitators were taken into custody for assaulting law enforcement. Corporate media outlets have also covered the Minneapolis ICE story like they've covered much of Homeland Security's efforts to secure the homeland dishonestly. Case in point, the story that immigration enforcement officers arrested 4 members of the Oglala Sioux tribe. Did you guys follow this? Yeah. The Oglala Sioux tribe, and that the Trump administration demanded an immigration agreement from tribal officials in exchange for information on where the 4 were being detained. We have not been able to verify any claims that DHS law enforcement arrested or even encountered members of this Sioux tribe. And by the way, these elders in this tribe backpedal and say, yeah, all this stuff that the media ran with, hoping that somebody would pick up the story like the USA Today did with the Wall Street Journal poll. Yeah, that didn't really work. And so we're going to tell the truth. That never happened. They will lie to you about everything. So then the Federalist goes on to a different article, and this is where you could start targeting. You could start reading about some stories that the media have lied about. You ready? This is the title. This is why I love them. Let's track every lies Dems and media invented to demonize immigration agents. At face value, you and I agree, ICE agents are federal agents that we pay for, whose job is explicitly to remove people who are foreign invaders of our country, starting with criminals who endanger us. Yes? Do we all agree that that's the shared objective of ICE, and that the agents who work underneath that federal agency, their job is to find the worst of the worst. And now, with the influx of immigrants, 20 million of them, to find people who ought not be here, that we ought not be paying for, but that the Democrat Party needs desperately to vote in the upcoming elections. Yes? Let's track a couple of these lies, because I think it's worthwhile. It's no secret that President Donald Trump's plans to secure the border and kick out the foreign criminals, the former administration welcomed with open arms, were a big factor in his 2024 election victory. This would underscore why in the Wall Street Journal poll, MAGA, 92%, support everything this president is doing. Just saying. Despite the popularity of mass deportation policy ahead of the election, Democrats and corporate media are working overtime to paint legitimate enforcement actions as criminal and to smear the people leading that enforcement as the Gestapo. Why else would we raid a freaking church, right? These lies are not without consequences, though. The chronically Antifa-afflicted Portland Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility is once again under siege. You guys see this? And the Los Angeles Police Department is reporting experiencing a surge in calls about kidnappings that are actually federal immigration enforcement efforts. Even worse, mere months after nearly a dozen suspects were arrested and charged with domestic terrorism for storming an ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, while armed, in July, a shooter in Dallas carried out what the Department of Homeland Security Director Kristi Noem called a vile attack motivated by hatred for ICE. The perpetrator shot 3 detainees and after firing indiscriminately into an ICE van before killing himself. It's all deranged. I'm going to just debunk one of these stories. You guys remember the story after Renee Good was shot and killed by the agent after she gunned her car at him and hit him? Well, it didn't take long after the reports of that for the Border Patrol-linked shooting in Portland, for leftists to gin up their anti-immigration enforcement demagoguery. Within hours of the incident, Democrats such as Oregon Governor Tina Kotek, that's just how this goes, and Portland Mayor Keith Wilson rushed to attack lawful immigration enforcement operations in the city and lay blame for the shooting at the hands of immigration officials. Naturally, there was more to the story than the leftists claimed. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the reason Border Patrol official in question opened fire on the 2 suspects, both of whom are alleged Tren de Aragua gang affiliates, is because the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Well, the leftists lost their minds following the incident in Minneapolis, of course. What Democrats ignored and what the media were more than willing to obfuscate was the important fact that the agent only shot the woman because she accelerated towards him and hit him, right? None of this is mainstream reporting. It's all about the action that was taken. It was extreme. This is Donald Trump. This is what No. How many of the people in that Wall Street Journal poll, if there was a question that started after 9% inflation under the Joe Biden administration and the welcoming of as many as 20 million illegal aliens into this country, do you agree with the Trump administration's use of federal agents to remove criminal illegal aliens who threaten our streets every day? Do you think maybe that would have gotten a different response than "I hate Trump and ICE is the Gestapo"? This is their last stand. This is where they will die to protect even the worst vile kind of scum from all around the world who only mean one thing to the Democrats and to the leftists who are agitating on their behalf. And that is a lever pull in the voting booth. Or hell, on 10 absentee ballots, right? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, everybody can tell that Don Lemon was wrong, except Don. Listen to this black man who says if he tried to pull what he did in a white church in a black church, dude never would have made it out alive. What next?
Do you want to put that cut here?
Which one? Don Lemming?
The one we didn't get to?
Ooh, that could work. Let me see. That might be a really smart idea. Yeah, which one was he saying on that one? This is where he was saying that because he's the biggest name there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the myopic bubble view
I think that's
of your mission, Dawn. All right. Dawn Jennifer.
Yeah, I think that's what he says.
So I got a great email yesterday from my friend Steve. Steve, I gotta find you. Where'd you go? Here we go. Search mail. Steve. There he is. So he gave me 2 emails regarding Dr. Gundry's The Healthy Fat MCT Wellness. This is what I drink every day. This is a dietary supplement that I think is a great appetite crusher for like 5-6 hours. It's a great meal supplement. Great meal supplement. So if you're trying to lose weight and maybe you don't want to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're going to try to carve one down, drinking the Healthy Fat, woo, is that a winning and delicious recipe? So Steve says, I keep forgetting to tell you, and I just thought of it again when you talked about MCT powder. I mix it in my post-workout protein drink. 1 cup unsweetened vanilla almond milk, 1/2 of a banana, 1 scoop of vanilla whey protein powder, and a scoop of MCT powder. Give it a try. That sounds delicious, right? And so if you're starving after you work out, if you drink this, you won't be. That'll certainly help you burn some calories. And then he added onto it. Then he said Alpha Gold. Let's see. So he says, in a previous email, I told you I started taking Alpha Gold Male instead of waiting after my surgery so that I could evaluate it. Turns out I didn't need 2 months to evaluate it. According to my doctor's office, I have to stop taking all supplements 1 week prior to surgery, which is Tuesday next week. I thought that there would be a lot of down or a letdown, but I figured it would come 2 or 3 days after I stopped taking the supplements. I had an extremely difficult time getting through my workout this morning because 20 minutes in, I was running out of gas. I managed to match the same workout that I did last Tuesday, but it was extremely difficult. I'm 100% certain that it was the Alpha Gold Male that was giving me the extra fuel for my workouts. So he's not just talking about this, he's talking about Juvenon, talking about bloodflow7.com. This, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy, delicious. And it'll kill your appetite. Great way to lose weight. Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds drinking this. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. And Steve, good luck with your surgery, but thank you for letting us know. I know it's the Alpha Gold. I know it's Blood Flow 7 that's giving me the best stuff in my workouts. It's crazy. Crazy. I tell you. Let's see how you're doing.
So do you want to play that here or not?
No. Look at you guys, 277. 6,200 watching. Hi. Thanks for being here. Does it feel like I'm staring at you?
Yes. Kind of creepy.
Why? Okay, I won't look at you anymore. Radio program. Brock, I'm going to change my mind. I do want to play it here. I want to read you this. So Don Lemming, as we talked about on this program, stormed this church in St. Paul, Minnesota, and he live streamed the whole thing. He terrorized the people, some of the people he was with, really frightened the parishioners. There's a little boy in the congregation, and there's video of him, and he's totally freaked out. It's just heartbreaking to see how unnecessary how beyond the realm of common sense that invasion was. Well, Don Lemon has said now after the fact that, you know what, you got to make people uncomfortable, that it's okay that he did what he did because these conversations we have to have. And white privileged people need to realize how white and privileged they are. Wait a minute. What the heck are you talking about? Let's read a little bit of this article from the Free Beacon, and then I want you to hear Don Lemon himself. Disgraced former CNN host Don Lemon colluded, I should say, with anti-ICE activists now under investigation for storming a Minnesota church on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. He says, we show up somewhere that is a key location. The leader of this invasion of the church told Don Lemon in an interview prior to the event, they don't expect us to come here. And then we disrupt business as usual. So Lemon kissed that woman who said that on the cheek at the beginning of their interview. It's sort of like everybody knew what was going on. Don didn't just show up and was like, oh my gosh, look, people are about to storm the castle. He was in on it, coordinated with them. And when he was on the podcast with this leftist Jennifer Welch yesterday, he said some very disgusting, disturbing things. And I want you to hear this. Listen.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America and you have a platform and you're the biggest name. Of course, you're going to be the person that they single out and they're going to make the headline because it plays to their base, and their base is full of racist, bigoted homophobes like Nicki Minaj.
Well, the fact of the matter is, Don, it has nothing to do with your platform, which is pathetic, or you being black or gay, because I don't even care. We all are talking about you because of your extraordinary lack of judgment. You knew better. Full stop. All of your other bloviating doesn't matter. Here's a black man who's like, yo, if he tried that in a black church, the aunties in the front row would not have let him even get close to the priest or the pastor. Listen.
Yeah, Don Lemon knew better than to go to a black church. He would have never tried that. It would have been a totally different scenario that would have happened. Totally different outcome. Because we don't play about stuff like that. You're not going to come in and you think he would have got an interview? Are you kidding me? He wouldn't have got past the aunties at the front. They would have shut that down. He's not even getting in through the front door. Yeah, we don't play that. In the name of Jesus, he wouldn't have got in. You're talking about dudes reformed from the streets, giving the testimony aunties never gave up on them. You're going to assert yourself into that situation? Bro, I'm scared to have my phone on ring when I'm at church. It's just a different atmosphere, I don't even want to say what would have happened that day, but a lot of righteous indignation would have went down. We would have righteously indignated that whole situation, shut it all down. You think he's going to lean into a black pastor? He's going to lean in like that, tell him, hey, don't touch me, and lean in on him with his auntie watching in the front row? You think he's going to do that? Bro, I would pay pay-per-view. I would pay to see that. Don Lemon knew better. He would have never done that, bro. He knows. He's not dumb.
He knows. Look, I don't know if white people are just, I don't know. We're browbeaten so much into our supremacy, into our privilege. You don't even know about it. It's how racist you are. You don't even acknowledge how racist you are. We've gotten to the point where we're like, look, we don't even want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you. And the parishioners were absolutely gobsmacked. Are you kidding me? And they probably were scared to death, wondering who had a gun. Because when people protest and they barge into a church service, how does it usually end? That we've seen as of late. These people prey on garbage storylines, then play the victim card, hoping to be excused for their bad decisions. Well, Don Lemming, I have a message for you. You can suck it. You can suck it. When we come back, President Trump exposes the Greenland lie. And he says, you know what? NATO can't deny it either. Why does this matter? On the eve of Davos World Economic Forum? Oh, it's fantastic. Next. Kind of peppered Don all throughout. I was thinking, you know what? We could do a segment to get rid of it, but it kind of bubbles up in so many different examples. Just making bad decisions, doing stupid stuff. Doing stupid stuff.
Anyone that has merch made that says Lemon Nation. Like, what nation, Dawn?
See, I'd love to see how many people tune in. Is there a way for you to see? Where is he? Is he on YouTube? I'm banned on YouTube because apparently I told people to drink bleach. Because, you know, that's what I did during COVID. You know what I heard is really good for you? Drinking bleach. Really? Okay. So dumb. It is so cold in here. Is it not freezing in there?
Mm-mm.
God bless America. Dr. Richard Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, 412-906-9600. It sounds from the looks of it, of all the doctors in the world that you and I are going to need, the one we're going to need the most is the back specialist, the guy who fixes bulging and herniated discs. 4 out of 5 of us. This is what it says. 4 out of 5 of us at some point in our life are going to need an adjustment, are going to need some kind of intervention because it just happens. Discs disintegrate, they fall apart, they get out of whack, they get out of place, and then you have terrible pain. But Dr. Rafferty knows how to fix that, and he knows how to do that without cutting into your skin, without surgery, which I think is, I would completely go with Dr. Rafferty before I would ever try surgery. And that's what he offers. It's called intra-disc nutrosis. So if you think about inside the disc, allowing it to grow, allowing it to get fluffy again, that's what he does. And he's been doing this for decades. And he's got thousands upon thousands upon thousands of 5-star reviews. People who give him 2 thumbs up, 98% success rate. And after 5 years, the number is 96%. It's pretty significant, right? 412-906-9600. He's awesome. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Oh. I have so many stupid pictures or things. Okay, so Sniper. So our friend at Sniper, disinfectwithsniper.com. So 4 of you, we talked about these flags that are beautiful 250th birthday flags for America. And our friend who owns disinfectwithsniper.com put them on his website seeing if people would be interested. Well, he had to place another order. So many of you were interested. And then we had said, some of you were like, oh, I wish they were the really, because these are $60. And there's a more expensive version that's embroidered. And people were like, oh, I wish it was embroidered. He can get you the embroidered ones. And so I have to ask Brock, oh, I forget how he wanted us to connect those dots, but he's going to have them for you, which is great. But he's got another product that we're trying right now, which I'm super excited to try and then be able to tell you about probably, I don't know, maybe even as early as tomorrow. We'll have to see. But he's constantly putting new stuff on his website, and disinfectwithsniper.com is what I say is the number one thing you're going to want. It's the hospital grade antibacterial that kills everything and then some. And it's so great. When do we know? What was this story, Brock, about the embroidered flags? When?
Oh, some of you called yesterday or emailed yesterday. It was like 4 or 5 of you, and he's ordering them for you. So what he decided to do was to go and order some to put on the website. Probably be about a week until he gets them, but they'll be 90. The embroidered ones will be $99.99. I think he said.
Yeah, a little bit more expensive than the normal ones. And then, do we know about this new product? when that rolls out?
Probably when you tell them.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll
I
try
have not
it.
tried it. So
Let's both try it, and then we'll determine. I love this because he spitballs things. He's like, well, this is a guy who's got a bunch of different people in. They're local farmers. They are developers. These are craftsmen. He has a guy who makes cleavers, like the whack. I mean, like beautiful, hammered, and like he's got so many interesting things. He's got hunt chef. He's got all the spices. He's got everything for the yard. Sniper, knockout, harmony. But he's going to add other stuff, and constantly he's going to add other things and see if you like it.
Yeah, this is the product we're talking about. It's a creamed honey with chocolate. He says it's great on toast and stuff. It's from local PA.
So if there are ways that we can connect local vendors with a national audience and we think it's something that's exciting, now that you've shown it, I wasn't prepared to show it because what if we don't like it? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, about that. So.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know we were. Well, you said local, so I was opening it.
I know. I watched. We all did.
Smells good.
Well, put your big finger in there. Give it a scoop.
It's pretty good.
Well, what are you going to say? It sucks?
No.
That's terrible. That sucks ass right there, okay? No, you're not going to say that. You're going to be like, that's good.
It's honey.
With chocolate.
He's right. I think it would be fantastic on like toast.
You guys realize the inanity of what I just exposed, right? So he came out, showed you what it was. Now he has to tell you that it's good, or else it's like big. We'll see.
I didn't stop eating it.
Oh. Oh.
I told him I wouldn't try it on air. I like it. I like honey. I like chocolate. It's pretty tasty. Well,
it's really good.
What'd you say?
It's really good.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. WendyBellRadio.com to join the live video stream all 3 hours and the chat. Love to have you here, guys. Welcome back. This whole Greenland thing, it's interesting. President Trump has the cards. He knows exactly the value. He knows what America has paid versus all the other NATO countries for defense, quote unquote, defense. It's ridiculous how much America pays. I'd like to get Joe Biden back or any of these Democrats who dared to finger wag and whisper at us, pay your fair share. Y'all, you and I have paid our share all these illegal aliens shares for other countries that are too cheap to get off the dime and do one of something, and that Republican and Democrat presidents here in the United States have let skate by while the American people do what we do. And it's always pay everybody's share. Do me a favor. If you're running for office or you're in it and you want to utter the words, pay your fair share, I will lunge through the camera and I will throw punch you and throw you down the stairs, because we are the most generous, benevolent, forgiving, helpful, gracious, kind, peaceful people the planet has ever known. We are the first to rush aid that clearly gets stolen by other people and siphoned to other sources. We're the first to offer money, to offer food, to offer good old-fashioned elbow grease. If there's a problem, who shows up? America. Always America. And Donald Trump is like, look, hey, NATO, all of these countries, I know our whole purpose is to defend each other, right? But we've paid way more than our fair share. And you know what we deserve? We deserve Greenland. And by the way, we're going to take Greenland. Now, we can make it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way, because you know darn well, you've been warned by NATO, Denmark, that has the ownership rights of the territory of Greenland. You've been told for 25 years. NATO has warned you for 25 years about the growing threat in the Arctic, not months, but for years, 25, quarter of a century. Russia, China, encroaching, watching, positioning, and Denmark has done zero for our Spanish-speaking friends. Not a damn thing. And now all of a sudden when Trump is like, you know what? These threats to the Arctic, to shipping routes, to all sorts of stuff. All Russia, China need to do is just kind of plant a flag on Greenland. And who's going to go defend Greenland? The two dog sleds that they have there, or the might of the American people and our military? So he's going to the World Economic Forum. President Trump is this week. I guess it's Thursday. I think we're going to read a little bit more about it together. He's going to go to Davos, Switzerland, and he's going to be basically like, look, all of you blowhards, all of you countries out there who want to pretend that you're one of something, you've provided zero. You don't provide 5% of your GDP. You're not serious about defense. You're all a bunch of namby-pamby willows, and I'm gonna call your bluff, right? I want you to hear this, by the way, from President Trump. Suddenly, when Trump says America has to secure Greenland for national security, all of these elites in Denmark and all these other countries pretend it came out of nowhere. What? Why does he want Greenland? He must be a dictator. He wants to get all the rare earth minerals. He's an oligarch. He's a king. No, he's saying, look, we're going to solidify the Western Hemisphere. We're going to keep China and Russia out of it. You've known about this for 25 years. Denmark's done nothing, so screw off. We're moving in, and you can do this our way. We'll give you money. If you're from Greenland, we'll give you what? 100,000, 500,000? What's it going to take? There's like 30,000 of you. We can pay you off. You're going to be excited. We're going to then start drilling and going after the rare earth minerals. We'll do so respectfully, not to destroy the landscape. But you guys are going to get rich. Are you going to sit here and keep doing nothing in the snow, or do you want us to help you get rich? Because we can make Greenland great again. Let's go, right? Here's the president talking about NATO allies. So he's at the national championship football game in Florida yesterday. He's about to bounce back to the White House, and reporters on the tarmac outside Air Force One are asking him questions. And they're saying, so the NATO countries sent a total of 34 soldiers to Greenland as some like show of force against you. And he's like, no, that's not really what happened, but let me tell you what happened.
That wasn't a military. They sent a few people, and they say they sent them not for me, but to guard against Russia. But, you know, NATO's been warning Denmark for about 20 years now, longer than that, 25 years. They've been warning Denmark about the Russian threat. And it's not only Russia, it's also China. So we'll see what happens. But let's put it this way. It's going to be a very interesting Davos. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good flight. Thank you.
Going to be a very interesting World Economic Forum, because Trump is planning on going there guns a-blazing and being like, look, this is the deal. You guys want to do you want to do business with the United States of America, things are going to have to change because business as usual isn't cutting the mustard. We're tired of covering everybody else's fair share. So Donald Trump is responding to decades of basic negligence. Greenland sits at the crossroads of Arctic missile routes and Russian naval movement, Chinese strategic expansion, the northern gateway to North America. This isn't about land per se. It is about the defense of the Western Hemisphere. NATO's known about this. Denmark was warned. Nothing was done. And now Trump is doing what others refuse to do. And before it's too late. That is why Davos is nervous. That is why Brussels is panicking. That is why their narrative is collapsing because Trump isn't breaking the system. He's just exposing how long it's been broken. And the Arctic is where the next great power struggle is going to be decided. It's America first, even at the very top of the world. Yes. President Trump also put out a truth about NATO being warned or warning Denmark for years. Got a lot of people who we don't want in our hemisphere trying to set up shop where they should not be, right? Do not want this to happen. So his cards are on the table. So apparently we understand that the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, apparently Denmark isn't showing, which is curious. I've got this article from Gateway Pundit. Denmark will not attend World Economic Forum in Davos as Hurricane Trump is expected to dominate the event with the largest U.S. delegation ever. Look, you did not get a Willow in this president. He is not some namby-pamby, vanilla white bread, zero dried toast nobody. He's America first. He's going to fight for America first. He's going to go guns blazing for America first. I voted for that. And so did 77 million others. So Davos meets MAGA, and nothing will ever be the same, says the Gateway Pundit. When Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban warned Europe last year of the arrival of Hurricane Trump, he wasn't joking around. 1 year later, the Donald J. Trump administration is firing on all cylinders, and the impact of their work has fundamentally changed the world. And now all the globalists at the World Economic Forum in Davos are going to get a taste of MAGA as Trump dominates the event, leading the largest U.S. delegation ever to it. 5 cabinet secretaries and other senior officials. The first consequence is that representatives for the World Economic Forum, which kicks off actually, I guess it's today, in Switzerland, have confirmed that Danish officials will not be attending as the tensions over the U.S. acquiring Greenland are intensifying. In a statement, the forum said, "We can confirm that the Danish government will not be represented in Davos this week. Danish government representatives were invited this year, and any decisions on attendance are a matter for the government concerned." Well, Trump's keynote speech in Davos is going to be tomorrow, and that is where he is going to be addressing the European leaders directly. Who wants to bet it's going to get uncomfortable? Besides the dominating Trump being there will be a lot of talk about globalist themes as well. This is, thousands of attendees from business and advocacy and policy, all going to be tackling issues, including the growing gap between the rich and the poor, yada, yada. The main spectacle is President Trump. Is America. It is America first. No longer America last. No longer America getting kicked around. No longer America, the world's piggy bank. No longer America, the place that sends tons and tons of food and aid to Somalia that then gets blown up so that the president says, "No more aid for you." It is a new chapter, ladies and gentlemen. And that there are a lot of people, according to the Wall Street Journal poll, who don't understand. Well, of course not. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I got a great clip for you. And some Harmeet Dillon saying, you know what? We're going after Don Lemon and these protesters. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's very interesting to see what the president is doing. And he's exposing, not that he's some tyrant or dictator, but rather that it's been so mismanaged, right? Nobody ever thought to tell the other countries, or the United Nations countries by that matter, or the European Union, if you want to do business with us, y'all have to start contributing more. Because this isn't some big party and we're paying for all of the supplies, the setup, and the cleanup. We're not doing it anymore. And he's exposing how weak they are, the 34 people that they sent, the troops, from 7 different countries, some lackluster show of force, whatever. And then they pulled him back home. And you're going to get a video on that here in just a minute. I went a little long. Sorry, Brock. I went a little long there and didn't get in our 44 hours guy, which is a fascinating tell on what's going on. I love it. All right. More Gains Fitness. More Gains Fitness. If you live in Somerset and Cambria counties, there are gyms there that are run by people who feel about America the way you do. Run by a veteran who's tough, but works so hard and is really committed to your health and your well-being. And so she started something, and I think probably COVID got the thought going in her mind about doing remote things online on the computer with people from other cities and other states, and she started calling it 90 Ignite. And her basic claim was, if you give her 90 days, she'll teach you how to eat and how to exercise. Now you have to do it, but if you're willing to do it for 90 days, she's going to check in on you. That's what it is. Accountability. And then the before and after shots are just like ridiculous. The success people have, losing inches, losing dozens of pounds. That one gentleman lost 100 pounds. I mean, what? Moregainsfitness.com. MORGAINZ fitness.com. She's amazing. And you can do it from the comfort of your own home, wherever you live. It's pretty great.
I hope this is wrong.
44 hours is one. Okay. Yeah.
But I saw on Twitter, Virginia Democrats introduced a bill to end mandatory minimum sentences for rape, manslaughter, and child pornography. Who even thinks to put that? At what point does that sound like?
How do you?
You're sitting there and you're like, hey, Wendy, now that we have the house, we should probably put together something. Let's end these mandatories on child porn and rape. And what about the victims you guys cry about? What about the victims? That's all we ever hear is, you're not thinking about the poor victims. Well,
you're the ones who import these people from insane asylums and prisons and mental institutions. Remember, Trump got lit up for saying that? And it's absolutely true. Why do you think all these other countries, specifically in Latin America, how they all tout these historic low crime numbers? Our murders are down. Yeah, because you shipped all of your goons to this country. And you've got idiots like Don Lemon protecting them. Make that make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. So somebody out there put together this video, and he titled it 44 Hours. I love this guy. I have to do a dive on him. But he's talking about literally in 44 hours, President Trump was able to move the ball forward. After 25 years of nothing, NATO warning Denmark. You got China and you've got Russia encroaching on Greenland. It's your territory. You have to do something. Denmark did nothing. Trump is like, look, here's what's going to happen in 44 hours. This is how that man, one man who the left hates, has managed to move this whole geopolitical football to a first down. Listen.
Europe just pulled off the fastest military retreat in NATO history, and it only took one tariff threat from Trump. Germany, France, Sweden sent troops to Greenland. Acting tough, we're protecting Denmark. We're standing firm. Germany deployed 15 soldiers, led by a rear admiral. France sent mountain infantry that lasted exactly 44 hours. Trump announced 10% tariffs on 8 European countries, rising to 25%. And guess what? Germany's elite team got orders Sunday morning. Cancel everything. You're flying home at noon. 44 hours. That's less time than a weekend trip. Here's the best part. Germany invented the Blitzkrieg. Now they're executing the fastest retreat in modern history. Europe spent decades lecturing about standing up to bullies. Then one tariff threat, and they're gone. The German Defense Ministry tried spinning it. We completed our mission. Very satisfactory. Yeah, so satisfactory you canceled all your meetings and ran home. Trump didn't send troops, didn't fire a shot, just threatened their car exports. Suddenly Greenland's not worth defending. This is economic warfare in 2026. No bombs, just tariffs. And NATO's second largest economy runs home after 2 days. Europe talks tough until it hits their wallet. Then it's every nation for itself. Trump proved you don't need aircraft carriers when you control the world's largest consumer market. This was theater, and the curtain dropped the moment money showed up.
100% correct. Now, I want to bounce back to this whole church invasion thing because these stories, much like COVID, are forcing us to pay attention to how deep the rot goes. And when you can connect activists in St. Paul storming a church during a Sunday sermon with school board members. Did you guys see the St. Paul school board member was among the anti-ICE activists who stormed this church? Are you kidding me? Federal authorities say they're going to be pursuing charges, potentially under the Federal FACE Act and the KKK Act in connection with the protest that disrupted a St. Paul church service Sunday. So let's talk about who's a part of this. U.S. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon stated that they're investigating violations, blah, blah, blah. But you have a school board member, Nakima Levy Armstrong, a prominent activist, said in a Facebook post that she co-organized the disruption along with Chantil Allen, a St. Paul public school board member. Videos show Allen leading chants inside the church. Allen posted a photo of Don Lemon and Armstrong outside City's church, accusing congregants of following a false prophet. That was the guy they were trying to hunt down. The pastor there, who's also affiliated with Minneapolis or St. Paul ICE, right? You have a school board member getting involved in what a horrible decision. Harmeet Dillon, the DOJ, we are ready.
The people who did this made a big, big mistake, whoever they are. We are investigating exactly who they are, who coordinated with them, who paid for it, and who was there. And this will be met with the full force of the United States Department of Justice, as the Attorney General has directed. And we discussed yesterday with the pastor, who was totally shaken. He was with his family. We want to make sure everyone felt safe. And there will be further legal action in coming days.
Chantil Allen, a St. Paul Public Schools Board member, right? She's also served on the school board since 2020. She's a founder of Black Lives Matter Twin Cities, according to her LinkedIn profile. She'd previously drawn controversy for her public comments on policing and school safety. And following the 2022 fatal stabbing of a student at a high school, Allen criticized the district's decision to temporarily return police officers to school, calling it a status quo white supremacist solution. Do these people need to be around our kids? Well, this man on social media says, you know what? There are only two sides here. No matter what the story, there are two sides. Choose wisely.
You know, there's only two sides to a civil war. You can be on the side of the criminals, the rapists, the child molesters, the human traffickers, the drug traffickers, the cartel members, the gang members, and the terrorists. Or you can be on the side that wants to lock every one of those people up and deport them from our country. There's no third option. Choose wisely.
He's right. They've completely gotten rid of the gray area. See, the Don Lemmings of the world, the Chantel Allens of the world demand complete obedience. Complete. Or else they light the torch and come to your house. Quick time out. When we're back on the Wendy Bell radio program, perhaps one of the most egregious and disgusting things I've heard yet from Don Lemming. I'm going to do a whole segment on it next. It feels like I'm beating a dead horse, but I don't think he's dead enough yet. And I mean that not literally, of course. But like, he just happens to be the poster child, outrageous face of crazy.
Well, he put himself there, and that's exactly where he wanted to be.
And then when things go sideways, you claim your victim status.
Well, he's always been the victim.
Can you imagine living like that? Is that why they look that way? Is that why he looks so harsh? Is that why Jennifer Welch is such an angry woman? I don't know. We might blow out these 2 sound bites. I don't know, Brock. I don't know what I'm going to do.
If I blew out one of them, it'd be the first one.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you about Ireland contracting. I mean, it kind of feels like this is what Trump is trying to do, right? As a builder. He's trying to fix the foundation, but he also wants to add on for generations. It's like the ballroom, right? He saw a need. We don't have a place that can hold a lot of people. And so we have to put up this trashy tent. And if it's even rained a little bit the day before, women in their high heels get their heels stuck in the mud. It's a joke. This is not good enough. And so he and friends of his put together hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're building something for everybody to enjoy. Everybody. Not just MAGA, not just Republicans, everybody. There's the difference to me. There's the difference to me. The left wants what the left wants, and it's always sucky for America. And they have to twist themselves in knots to browbeat you, to shame you into believing that if you don't go with them, then you're the problem. But it completely contradicts your common sense. I should probably save this commentary because I'm going to have it again. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, Ireland contracting, I was thinking about building. You know, your home is an investment. Obviously, it's also your sanctuary. So if there's a way you can make it safer or warmer or drier or more comfortable, why not? And a lot of these things are big projects. Like, you want to make sure you're not going to get ripped off, right? That's why I love dealing with the Irelands. I mean, literally, I've had water pouring into my basement, and I was able to call Gary Ireland's cell phone and be like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, I'm on my way. And the dude was, and in a pouring rainstorm, throws up a ladder on my house and cleans my gutters, which had been completely gunked up. Wow. He doesn't do that because I'm Wendy Bell. He does that because he's Gary Ireland. There's a difference. You want the Gary Ireland treatment no matter who you are. And you get it. Home exterior remodeling, roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, downspouts, windows, electrical work. Good rule of thumb, it's on the outside of your house. He can fix it. IrelandContracting.com, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. Oh, wait, you got more coffee.
But ice in it.
Oh.
What, did you have to go to the bathroom again?
No. Is your coffee still on?
I didn't look. I'm surprised she's still upset this much about Don Lemon.
All right. So we'll.
Was there still coffee?
Yeah, a little bit. It was off. So I'm just going to, because one of you guys sent me a hot plate for it.
So what do you want to do here?
Yes, we will bag the first one, which is long, but I kind of liked what she said, but I think we've done enough. We'll stick with
Everything else?
Mm-hmm. Isn't the one that's there what we already played?
It's a different time stamp.
Let me see. Oh, I'm getting a wheel. Did anybody else get with the stupid Apple update? Your computer is all haywire? Because mine is. God, I hate updates. They stink.
Well, if you skip it, you skip it. That's the way I look at it.
Religious groups like that. It's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think
Different times.
Yeah, I do want to hear this again. In fact, I want to hear that first.
Okay.
Program. I'm going to kick and punt this last segment because I'm very upset about a lot of what's going on in our country. And I think the thing that's most upsetting is that rational, reasonable people who know better are being conned. I don't know if they know they're being conned, but they are. And everything that the left is selling is such a disingenuous and dangerous narrative, and it makes me angry. No, it pisses me off. That's harsher. Look, when I look at other people who aren't like I am, I don't expect them to be like I am. And I'm not judging them because they're not the way I am. You know why? Because I'm busy. I'm busy. I have 5 sons. I have 2 jobs. I have a husband who works a hell of a lot of hours. And so I'd say about 94% of all of the things that involve raising a family, keeping a household, paying taxes, doing all of the things that need to be doing laundry, cooking, cleaning, all I do. I don't have time to look at you and scrutinize what you're doing. What I can hope for is that you're happy, is that you have meaning in your life, that things are well for you, that you are not sick, that the people who are in your life are meaningful to you, and that you're doing okay. That's the extent of what I'm thinking about when I see people in public who I don't know, right? I don't look at a Democrat with hatred. I look at them with disappointment, with great disappointment. I'm tired of being disappointed. I'm going to tell you a story. And it's hard. So before my mom passed away, one of my last conversations I had with my parents, they were always on the phone together, which is kind of annoying because sometimes I just wanted to talk to my mom, but I didn't know it at the time. She needed a lot more help than my dad was telling my sister and me. And so whenever I would call, they would both get on the phone together, right? And we'd go through the niceties about what's going on, how are the boys, blah, blah, blah. And I would go through each of them. And I'd start with the oldest, Michael. Michael's doing this and Jack's doing that. Ryan's doing well. Bob and Chris just found out, yada, yada. And they would be very pleased. But that's great. Your boys are wonderful kids. And we're super happy that they're having great success in school or endeavors or what have you. Just don't talk about that around your sister, my mom told me. Don't talk about how your sons are doing around your sister. Why? Why? Well, it's complicated, she said. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not a competition. I don't compete with my sister any more than I compete with Sean Hannity or Glenn Beck or Dan Bongino or Rush Limbaugh. I don't compete with you. I try to do the best I can do. And I try to do everything I can as well as I can. I raise my kids with a very specific mindset. You've got a family that supports you, that loves you, that provides safety for you. But I'm not about to wake you up and chase you around to finish your homework and pick up your room and yada, yada. And did you do this? And what about your grades? La, 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 la. This is your life. It's not my life. This is your life. You will get out of it what you're willing to put into it. But don't come crying to me when it doesn't go your way. And you know what? They've done pretty well. Now, why on earth would my mom tell me next time we're all together as a family, which happens very infrequently, don't talk about your boys? I don't know if I will ever forget that. See, when I hear about her kids, I'm happy for them. Their joy doesn't distract me or detract from my children's accomplishments. Can we not support one another? Can we not look at the home across the street that's nicer than ours, and instead of being jealous or vindictive or what have you, appreciate the hard work that must have gone into earning the money to afford it and being like, good for you. And I might shout across the street, I hate you because your grass is perfect and mine isn't. But I'm not sitting there angry at you. I'm not jealous of you. There's a deeper, I don't want to say psychosis. It sounds so clinical. There's a militant insecurity on the left. It's very off-putting. They demand that we accept them for everything that they are, right? And that we're in line with them on everything. But it never comes the other way, right? And so if you have in your family somebody whose politics are completely opposed to yours, do you also feel like you have to dance? That you have to pretend that it's performative, that you could never actually have a real conversation? That you've got the obligatory once a week check-in. Well, it's Tuesday, it's 3:30. I guess I'll call and check in. Because I do. I don't want to. And you know the hardest part of all? Is when you're close with somebody who's diametrically opposed from you politically. If you're close to them and they get closer when things go wrong for you, it's like you become more palatable. When I got fired, it was almost like we got to be close again. My sister understood because things were hard for my family, right? Half of our family income went away, or at least a third of it. That's a huge hit. You change everything right away. There are no more vacations. There's no more going out. There's no more coloring my hair at a salon, Claire, all it is. There's no more going to the gym. There's no more extra. Families do this. It's what you do to survive when your financial situation dramatically changes. It's all of a sudden, I became more, I don't know, human, more approachable, more worthwhile. When I was suffering, when I was struggling, when I was hurting. It's strange, isn't it? Why can't you be happy for me when I'm doing well and be supportive of me when things go wrong? Because I'm MAGA. Really? Is that what it comes down to? This is what infuriates me about Don Lemon. You have a guy who took a hit and fell from a really prominent position that not a whole lot of people would ever achieve. And instead of doing something legitimate or doing something worthwhile, investigative, or outside the box thinking, instead of doing what Nick Shirley did, Don Lemon tries to ride on the coattails of clicking. I need people to click on my video. I need to show that I'm relevant. Look at me, pay attention to me. Don't forget about me, for all the wrong reasons. It's all the wrong reasons, Don. Nobody cares that you're black. Nobody cares that you're gay. You've beaten that horse so many times. Please stop. Please stop. Dare to sink or swim based on your character. Based on who you are, because you know who you are. You're desperate. You're insecure. And you're scared. Because you're not making the money you used to make and your identity has completely changed. Sir, I've been there. But you're at a crossroads that has options. There's not like a roadblock. The choice is at your fingertips and you're choosing what I believe is a very difficult path. You want to be absolved from your bad decision-making and your unlawfulness by playing cards that nobody's impressed by anymore. I don't know anybody who's worried about being called a racist. I don't hear anybody who's worried about being called a homophobe. Really? Or an Islamophobe. You can't say things about people you don't know, Don, any more than you could judge the parishioners in that church, which you did. You called them supremacists. You called them entitled. Why? Because they were white or Asian? Do you know how deranged and sad that is? So, you know what? Spare us the ahas, the gotchas, ooh, this is what we're doing. Look at me. Go do something that matters. Go dare to tell the truth about one damn thing in your life, Dawn. Starting with the reason why people find you off-putting is because you are, and that is irrespective of the color of your skin or who you go to bed with at night. That is the true awakening. But to George Carlin's point at the beginning of this show today, that there are some people who are so wrapped in a bubble of their ideology that they lose who they are. And all they are is angry. Angry and indignant and dumb. Look in the mirror, Dawn. Who do you see looking back at you? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know what? Waking up is hard to do, but this young woman does. She thought Republicans were crazy when they were like, you know what? They're trying to bring in all these illegals to get them to vote Democrat. She's like, no, they're not. And then she started doing some research. And then she turned her phone on herself. Oh my, worth it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Don't talk about that. That sucked.
It's crazy that someone's success. What it is with your sister is you became more relatable to her.
Yeah, because I was broke.
That's
beleaguered, broken, and broke.
But that's the shame. Like
I wasn't, but yes,
right.
It's hurtful. It's very hurtful.
I never looked at my brother's success as anything other than good for you. That was my good for you.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
my success your success should have no reflection on anyone else. I've lost since starting this, full transparency. There are people that in my life that liked me better when I was at a job not making anything and unhappy at that job.
They liked you. You were overweight. You know?
And
then you started changing things around.
It's a shame that's what it comes to. And the sad thing is
like, how many people truly root for you? How many people do you feel like are truly there rooting for you? I feel like I've got a ton now because of you guys.
Yeah, I had a buddy who apologized. He's very successful. When I say very successful, I mean his bonuses are 6 figures, can be at an upwards of 6 figures. And he apologized one time. He's like, I shouldn't talk to you about this. I was like, why? And he's like, and I'm like,
why? Because you make a lot more money than I'll ever see in my life.
Good for you. Like, I'm like super excited for you.
Yeah.
But people fail to realize that just because you're successful financially,
right?
They think they just see the financial side. Let me get a little philosophical here. Because she saw you as one thing, right? She saw the financial stuff. She doesn't know anything else because she's never asked if your kids are struggling. If what's really going on in Wendy's mind? She never asks. Like, everything can look beautiful from the outside, but you never really understand or know what someone's going through. Because I would say 99% of people is a facade. Look at Facebook. Look at Facebook.
Yeah.
I had a friend tell me, I said, "Oh, it looks like things are great with your daughter." Blah 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 blah. And he's like, "Where'd you see that?" I was like, "Oh, your wife put it on Facebook." He's like, "I just had to take her doors off the hinges because we can't trust her." I'm like, "Whoa, that's not what I said." So, like, people don't know. You don't know. So just because someone has money doesn't mean they're happy, and doesn't mean they don't have a lot of problems too. It's just
everybody is,
and your success is your success. And here's the thing: everybody's definition of success is different. You can be happy making half of what someone else makes, and they can be miserable making twice as much as you. So
I'm not going to play Trump. I'm going to play this girl. And the only other thing I would maybe do is Carlin again, unless you think that's overkill.
I was going to say Uncle Cliff, but
I
love me some Uncle Cliff.
You want Uncle Cliff? Is he?
I have Carlin ready if you want him. So just that young.
So how long is Uncle Cliff? He's 125. Program. I have a lot of soliloquies where I punt things that I had ready for you because I'm chewing on something. Until we can get beyond the race baiting garbage, it's not just race, it's sex, it's everything. Any way to be a victim. I want to empower Democrats to stop bitching. Right? That's what Donald Trump says about Ilhan Omar. All that woman does is bitch, bitch, bitch. right? Go back to Somalia. Go back. If you don't see how blessed you are, if you can't tell how blessed you are for ripping off the American taxpayer for millions of dollars after marrying your brother, then get the hell out. No, but you know what I mean? It's like, stop it. I'm too busy to judge you based on your race. I'm too busy to look at you and be like, that's got to be a lesbian. Huh? Right? I don't care. I don't care. I want America first. I want America to be made great again. I want everything for everybody, not just white people, not just for everybody. Everything we talk about, I believe, ultimately is better for everybody. And one of the greatest things you can hear is when somebody reaches out and they're like, you know what? I stumbled upon your show and you were saying something and I didn't believe you. And so then I did what you said and I researched it. And wouldn't you know, you were right. I'm like, hey, I don't need you to tell me I'm right. I need you to start doing your own research thing for yourself. Don't fall for the polls. Don't read the headlines. Go 5 paragraphs in. That's where the real story is. Be aware that you've been gaslit. Realize there are a lot of people out there who suck, but the lion's share are good people. We're a beautiful country. We're the greatest place on planet Earth. This woman, she's a kid. And she's like, look, I thought this whole MAGA thing on all these illegals coming across the border to vote, I thought that was hocus pocus. And then I started researching. This is what happens in that aha moment when you wake up from hibernation and you start taking charge of your reality. Listen.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. When the Republicans were saying that illegal immigrants are voting and turning the states blue, I did not believe them. And the reason that I didn't believe them was because I was like, well, you have to have a driver's license. And in order to have a driver's license, you have to have a social security number. And if there were any other government documents that you had to have in order to vote, those also require a social security number. And only American citizens can obtain those. But then I discovered that there are 14 states out of 50 that do not require any type of identification at the polls. For those 14 states, there's an exception where they may be required to show ID. And then in quite a few states also, there are government-issued IDs to non-citizens where they can vote for certain municipalities. And then there are 12 states that require documentation but no photo ID required. So it could literally be something like a utility bill. And that's not counting the 14 I listed earlier. So we're already over 50% of the entire country that does not have proper documentation to vote. And then there are 9 states that request your photo ID but offer alternative ways to vote like an affidavit. There are only 10 states in America that strictly require photo government ID to vote. The Republicans were not wrong. And this was the source I used in case anybody was curious. It's nonpartisan.
And don't you love the fact that at the end she gives you her source called voteriders.org. Vote RID, riders.org. She's like, look, check me. Yes. See, we're getting into this point now where, yes, you're doing your own research. You're doing your own decision making. It's not about going home and sitting in front of the television and watching the 6 o'clock news. Those days are done. Why? Multiple reasons. A big one, obviously, is a lot of people realize that they cannot trust the media. This takes us back to COVID. They didn't tell you the truth. They didn't tell you to be calm. They whipped up fear. They stoked division. They pitted a wacko group of people, the Uber masked, the Uber rules following people. You're not standing 6 feet away from me. And they would go nutty and hiss at you in the line at Walmart. Happened to me more than once. And you just want to be like, easy there, lady, right? If you hadn't gone through that, you wouldn't have been ready for all of this other stuff that's coming out. Donald Trump is the biggest disruptor of them all. He's trying to make things great for everyone. And while he's doing that, he's exposing all of the people who've lied to you, who've told you that's what they want too. But while you weren't looking, or even when you were, they were robbing you blind, voting against your issues, right? And doing everything contrary to your values. Donald Trump forced you, the way COVID did, to see it in full glory. I'm not going back. I'm awake. I'm angry. I'm awake. Right? Pass it on. Thanks for being a part of the show. I hope you come on back tomorrow. Let's do it again, right? 21 hours. Where are you going to be? Here. Duh. Peace.